1 second I'm chilling in my college dorm. Next second, BM, I'm standing in a wooden shack that makes a cardboard box look luxurious. 10 square meters of pure depression. 1 bed. No Wi-Fi. No toilet. Just vibes. Bad ones. Some robot voice in my head starts yapping about endless continent. And everyone's a lord now. And fight monsters or die. Cool, cool, cool. As a veteran web novel reader, I immediately understood the assignment. Billions of people got Ice Guide into a survival lord game. Original? No. My reality now? Unfortunately, yes. A status panel popped up in front of me like the world's worst pop-up ad. Level 1 village. 0 citizens. 100 of each resource. Basically, I'm the CEO of Nothing Incorporated. Then my talent awakened. Golden light exploded out of my body like I was a human flashbang. The system went absolutely feral. SSS-rank talent. The only one. Infinite evolution. Everything in my territory, people, buildings, items, can evolve. And there's a chance of mutation into completely new evolution paths. The cost? Evolution points, earned by killing stuff. My brain short-circuited for a solid 5 seconds. Meanwhile, World Chat was having a complete mental breakdown. Some dude was crying about his F rank, farming basics, talent that gives 1% crop yield. Brother, my condolences, that's not a talent, that's an insult. Some other guy was flexing his D rank speed buff like he just won the lottery. Then everyone lost their minds because some rich kid named Lee Howard got an A rank talent with second-tier beasts. A rank had people screaming like it was the second coming. And here I am, sitting on SSS rank, keeping my mouth shut like a man who just found a winning lottery ticket at a funeral. I immediately went invisible on chat. Rule number 1 of having broken abilities. Tell N01. I stepped outside to survey my glorious kingdom. It was a patch of dirt surrounded by a white force field. Beyond that, pitch-black murder forest with things growling in it. Lovely neighborhood. 0 stars on Yelp. Next to my shack was a stone pool, the recruitment pool. 2 free citizens per day. I smashed that button immediately. 2 women rose from the water like the world's most budget mermaid movie. Peasant clothes, dirt on their faces, confused expressions. Their stats? Level 1 farmers. F-rank potential. Skills. Kinda knows how to farm. Incredible. Game-changing. I'm building an empire with 2 women whose greatest qualification has seen a vegetable before. I named the brave one Roshue and the shy one Lanchi. Solid names. Very leader-like of me. Then the system dropped the real bomb. 7-day newbie protection. After that, beast wave. Good luck, losers. World chat immediately turned into a funeral. People crying, people panicking. Someone literally said, barbecued, which I assume means cooked. Roasted. Done. But me? My eyes locked onto the goblins skulking around outside my barrier. Little gray gremlins, barely a meter tall, carrying sticks like they're about to commit a misdemeanor. Each one was basically a walking evolution point with legs. I grabbed my starter wooden spear, truly a weapon fit for a king, told my 2 farmers to stay inside, and stepped through the barrier. The forest smelled like wet garbage and regret. I crouched near the edge, waited for a lonely goblin to wander close, then launched out of the shadows and shish kebabbed the little dude through the back. 1 hit, 1 kill, 1 evolution point. I sprinted back inside the barrier like a man who just stole something from a convenience store. Now the big question, what do I evolve first? My shack? My recruitment pool? Nah. I looked at Ruashue. People are the foundation of everything. Ruashue, come here. She walked over, confused. I put my hand on her shoulder and whispered the magic word. Evolve. Green light swallowed her whole. She trembled a little, and then the system screamed at me. Mutation triggered. Farmer evolved into elf descendant. The light faded, and I almost fell over. Ruashue went from cute village girl to goddess who accidentally wandered out of a fantasy painting. Silver hair, pointed ears, skin like porcelain, eyes like emerald pools. Her peasant clothes were now struggling for their life, trying to contain the upgraded hardware. Legs for days. Face so perfect it should be illegal. Stats? Jumped from Tier 1 to Tier 3. Skipped 2 whole levels. Potential rocketed from F to B. Skills now included nature magic, archery, and magical sensing. 1 evolution point. 1. And I turned a dirt farmer into an elf warrior mage. She dropped to 1 knee. Ruashue, Thanks the Lord for the grace of rebirth. Loyalty, 100. Maximum. Ride or die? I looked at her. Looked at Ling Yi, whose jaw was on the floor. Looked back at the dark forest full of walking evolution points. The fire of ambition lit up inside me like someone poured gasoline on a campfire. This world has no idea what's coming. I helped Roshue up from her knee and, okay, I'm not gonna lie, touching her skin was like touching liquid silk wrapped around a cloud. My brain buffered for a second. Focus, Ling Yi. You're a lord, not a simp. Meanwhile, Ling Yi was standing there with her mouth hanging open like someone had just performed a magic trick using her best friend as the volunteer. Which, technically I did. Her eyes were screaming, me next, me next, me next, so loud I could practically hear it. Relax, I told her. You're next. Her face turned redder than a tomato at a sunburn convention. Girl almost short-circuited. But first, priorities. I had 0 evolution points left, and my newly upgraded elf warrior princess was currently armed with nothing. She had archery skills and no bow. That's like giving someone a driver's license and no car. I checked my resources, burned 10 wood, and used my lord powers to craft a weapon. What materialized in my hands was the saddest bow I've ever seen in my life. The system literally roasted it in the description. It looks like it could fall apart at any moment. Attack power, 1 to 3. 3. On a good day. This thing couldn't kill a mosquito with a grudge. But guess what the system whispered to me? Can be evolved. Music to my ears. Except I was broke on evolution points. Time to go goblin hunting again. Personally, with my trusty wooden stick of justice. I snuck outside, found another lonely goblin who clearly had no friends, ambushed him from behind, shink, and collected my paycheck. 1 evolution point, baby. I sprinted back, grabbed that embarrassment of a bow, and hit it with the evolution beam. White light this time. The bow stretched, grew, got beautiful. Elegant wood grain. Natural patterns. The system notification nearly made me cry happy tears. Trash shortbow. Evolved into Elven longbow, tier 3. Attack power, 15 to 25. Plus accuracy boost. Plus attack speed boost. The description said it was handcrafted by elven artisans and beloved by every elf archer. My guy. I turned a dollar store slingshot into a legendary weapon using 1 evolution point. This talent is absolutely, certifiably, broken. I handed the bow to Roshue and the transformation was instant. 1 second, she's an ethereal fairy princess. Next second, she's got this predator energy like a wolf that just spotted a rabbit buffet. Her whole vibe shifted from forest goddess to your funeral, arranged beautifully. We walked into the forest together. Different energy this time. Last time I was a guy with a pointy stick praying for survival. This time I had a tier 3 elf sniper backing me up. We found a goblin camp. 5 or 6 of the little gray idiots sitting around a campfire making goblin noises, probably discussing goblin politics. They had no idea death had arrived, and she had silver hair. Roshue drew an arrow. 1 fluid motion. Moonlight catching her profile like she was posing for a fantasy art cover. Thwip. The arrow crossed the gap like a laser beam and punched straight through a goblin's forehead. Minus 32 damage. The goblin had maybe 20 HP. That's not a kill, that's overkill. She didn't just end that goblin. She sent it to the afterlife with express shipping. The remaining goblins panicked and charged. Bad decision. Worst decision of their tiny, miserable lives. Thwip, thwip, thwip. Arrows flew like she had an autoloader installed. Every single shot, headshot, heart shot, throat shot. These goblins were lining up to die like it was a queue at a government office. 5 goblins, 5 arrows, 5 corpses. Total elapsed time, about 4 seconds. I just stood there holding my wooden spear like a cheerleader who brought a foam finger to a war zone. Nice work, I said, trying to sound like a competent leader and not a man who just witnessed art. She smiled at me, like my praise meant more to her than the entire massacre she just committed. This woman will kill 100 goblins without blinking, but gets all warm and fuzzy when I say, good job. I will never understand loyalty mechanics in this world, but I am not complaining. What followed was the greatest farming session in the history of this continent. Roshue was the DPS. I was the scout. Together we were an assembly line of goblin extinction. Any goblin that entered her range had a life expectancy of 3 seconds. That's not an exaggeration. That's a statistic. We wiped out 7 or 8 camps in just over an hour. 82 evolution points. 82. While other lords were still trying to figure out how to fight one goblin without dying, I was running a goblin genocide speedrun with a supermodel elf archer. Ruashue warned me about stronger things deeper in the forest, so I called it. Smart leaders know when to stop. Also, I was getting hungry, and I had a very eager farmer girl waiting back home who desperately wanted her glow up. We returned to base, and Ling Yi practically teleported to us. Her eyes were doing that anime sparkle thing. "My lord," she whispered, trembling, voice full of hope. I walked up to her, put my hand on her shoulder. "Same routine. Relax. Don't be scared." She nodded so hard I thought her head would fly off. Squeezed her eyes shut, eyelashes trembling like butterfly wings. I took a deep breath. Evolve. Light consumed her. The system loaded. And then, mutation triggered again. Farmer evolved into Moon Priestess. The light faded and Ling Yi was standing there looking like she just stepped off the cover of Moonlight Goddess Monthly. Her skin went from malnourished yellow to milk-white porcelain. Her ratty peasant clothes transformed into an elegant white priestess robe with a slit so high it should come with a warning label. Her whole energy shifted from scared village girl to serene celestial maiden who could heal your wounds and your emotional trauma. Her beauty was completely different from Ruashue's. Ruashue is, "I will shoot an arrow through your skull and look fabulous doing it." Ling Yi is, "I will gently hold your hand while you die of internal peace." Then I checked her stats and nearly choked. A rank potential, higher than Ruashue's B rank. My shy little wallflower had more ceiling than my murder elf. And her skills? Moonlight healing, Moon's blessing buffs, Moon chain crowd control. She's a healer, a buffer, and a controller all in one package. I accidentally built the perfect RPG party composition using 2 farmers and a dream. Ling Yi opened her eyes, deep black gems with liquid moonlight swimming in them, looked at me like I was personally responsible for inventing gravity, and whispered her thanks in a voice so soft my skeleton considered retiring. So let's take inventory. Day 1. I now have a tier 3 elf sniper for DPS and a tier 3 moon priestess for support. Both at 100% loyalty. Both willing to die for me. Most lords out there are still trying to get their single farmer to stop crying. I'm winning so hard it should be illegal. 81 evolution points left. Time to upgrade the infrastructure. I walked over to the recruitment pool and slapped my hand on it like I was petting a dog that was about to get real expensive. Evolve the recruitment pool. Cost 10 evolution points. 10. Buildings are pricey, but honestly, for the thing that literally produces my army, shut up and take my points. The pool went absolutely nuclear. Golden light shot into the sky. The basic stone basin started expanding, growing, transforming. Cheap rocks became white jade carved with mystical runes. The water went from puddle to liquid life energy that smells like hope. The whole thing doubled in size. Level 1 recruitment pool evolved into Level 2 spring of life. I read the new stats and my knees got weak. Daily recruitment doubled from 2 to 4. Minimum potential of recruits upgraded from F to E. And the cherry on top, there's now a small chance to recruit special units. Special units. I don't even know what that means yet, and I'm already salivating. New Day had just rolled over, so my recruitment charges were fresh. I walked up to my shiny new spring of life, rubbed my hands together like a gacha addict about to blow his life savings, and hit recruit. For figures rose from the glowing water. Not farmers this time. Oh no. 4 tall women in matching leather armor, carrying actual spears, with actual combat training, and actual, "I will stab something for you," energy. Their faces were young, but their eyes said, "Try me." Tier 2 female spear soldiers. E-rank potential. Basic spear combat. 4 of them. While every other lord on this continent is waking up to 2 more useless farmers, I just pulled a full squad of combat-ready warrior women from my premium recruitment fountain. "Greetings, my lord," they shouted in unison, dropping to one knee. Synchronized and everything. Very professional. 10 out of 10 first impression. I looked at my 4 new soldiers. Looked at my 71 remaining evolution points. And a beautiful, terrible, magnificent idea formed in my brain. Why have regular troops when I can have an all-evolved army? I locked eyes with the most fierce-looking one of the 4. Strong jaw, sharp eyes, The kind of woman who looks like she arm wrestles bears for fun. What's your name? I have no name, my lord. Please bestow one upon me. From now on, you're Pujuan. Pujuan, as in breaker of armies, because I don't do subtle names. I put my hand on her shoulder. She trembled and blushed. Even the tough ones blush. Is this a feature of my talent, or am I just that charismatic? Don't answer that. Evolve. Cost. 5 evolution points. 5. Tier. 2 units cost 5 times more than Tier 1. Makes sense. Premium product, premium price. Confirm. Light swallowed her whole. The system processed. And then, mutation triggered. Female spear soldier evolved into dragon blood warrior. The light this time wasn't gentle. It was angry. Deep crimson, like a volcano decided to attend a gender reveal party. I swear I could hear a dragon roaring somewhere in the background. Very dramatic. 10 out of 10 atmosphere. Pujuan's leather armor exploded off her body, and before you get any ideas, dark red dragon scales immediately burst through her skin and covered everything important, forming this insane biological battle armor that looked like it was designed by someone who really loved both dragons and women. She got taller. Her legs got longer. 2 cute little dragon horns popped out of her forehead like deadly accessories. Her black hair now had streaks of crimson running through it, flowing in wind that didn't exist. When the light cleared, she was standing there holding a flaming spear, looking at me like I was her god, and she was ready to commit war crimes in my name. Tier 4. A-rank potential. Dragon Blood Warrior. Skills. Dragon Blood Boil for going berserk, Flame Thrust for deleting enemies, and Dragon Scale Body 4. Good luck hurting me. She jumped 2 whole tiers. From a basic spear girl to a dragon-powered war goddess in 1 evolution. Pujuan will burn her last drop of dragon blood for you, master, she declared, slamming her flaming spear into the ground hard enough to make it hum. I said, good, 3 times because once wasn't enough to express how hyped I was. 66 evolution points left. 3 more spear girls waiting. Their eyes were practically on fire watching Pujuan's transformation. They wanted it bad. Your turn. All of you. They dropped to their knees so fast I heard the ground crack. Evolve. 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 3 times. 15 points. Triple light show. No mutations this time. Can't win the lottery every single pull, but they still upgraded beautifully. All 3 evolved into heavy Xuanjia guards. Full black plate, armor head to toe. Steel spears. Tower shields. Cold eyes behind metal visors. They looked like the final boss's elite bodyguards in a video game. Tier 3, D-rank potential, with skills in shield defense, spear formation, and protection. Basically human walls with stabbing capabilities. My roster was now complete. Let me break this down for everyone keeping score at home. Pujuan, Tier 4 Dragon Warrior. Frontline Berserker. Will literally set you on fire and look cool doing it. 3 Xuanjia guards. Tier 3 heavy tanks. Walk toward you slowly while you realize nothing you do can scratch them. Ruoxue, Tier 3 elf archer. Backline sniper. If she can see you, you're already dead. Lanshi, Tier 3 moon priestess. Heals, buffs, crowd controls. The reason everyone else can fight recklessly. 6 elite women surrounding me as I walk through my territory like an emperor on a Tuesday stroll. Other lords would cry if they saw this lineup. Most of them are still trying to convince a single farmer to pick up a rock. My lord, give us orders. Pujuan was practically vibrating with battle lust. I looked at the dark forest. The goblin scrubs on the outskirts couldn't satisfy my appetite anymore. Killing Tier 1 goblins with Tier 4 troops is like using a nuclear bomb to open a jar of pickles. Fun. Yes. Efficient. No, we're going deep. Into the forest. Everyone, battle formation. Yes, SIR. 6 voices. 1 response. Goosebumps. We rolled out of that barrier looking like the most overpowered newbie squad in the history of this continent. 3 Xuanjia guards in the center with shields up, covering me and Lanshi. Pujuan at the front, flaming spear crackling, radiating, come at me, energy. Ruoxue in the back, bow ready, eyes scanning like a military satellite. First time entering this forest, I was crouching in bushes poking lone goblins with a wooden stick. Now, I'm marching in with a dragon soldier and a private army. Character development speedrun. We found our first real fight fast. Not regular goblins, Goblin warriors. Tier 2. A dozen of them, green-skinned, carrying rusty iron swords, actually looking somewhat threatening. For other lords? Nightmare fuel, runaway and cry material. For me? Walking loot piñatas. Kill, one word. Didn't even need to elaborate. Pujuan launched herself forward like a human missile. Dragon blood boil, red aura exploded around her. Speed doubled. Power doubled. She was a blur of crimson and rage. Flame thrust. Her spear became a streak of red light and punched straight through 3 goblin warriors at once. Their bodies didn't just die, they detonated. -155, -158, -160. 3 kills. 1 attack. 0 effort. The remaining goblins looked at each other like, maybe we made a mistake today. They charged her anyway. Brave. Stupid, but brave. Their rusty swords bounced off her dragon-scale armor like plastic forks hitting a tank. -1, -1, -1. Minimum force damage. They literally could not hurt her. Pujuan looked at them the way you look at a mosquito that's trying really hard. Then she did a spinning sweep and cut 2 of them in half. Meanwhile, Roashue casually picked off 2 more from the back. Thwip. Thwip. Dead. Dead. Business as usual. Total fight duration, less than 10 seconds. The Xuanjia guards didn't even get to do anything. Lanchi didn't need to heal anyone. My tank line and healer were basically spectators at the Pujuan demolition show. 20 evolution points from 1 fight. Tier 2 mobs give 2 points each instead of 1. The math was getting beautiful. I waved my hand forward like a general in a war movie. Keep moving, and deeper into the murder forest we went, collecting evolution points like Halloween candy, leaving nothing but goblin parts and property damage in our wake. Deeper we went, and this forest was getting moody. Darker, wetter, smelling like something died, and then something else died on top of it. The monsters were leveling up too, goblin warriors everywhere. Plus these new annoying little jerks called goblin shamans who could throw tiny fireballs from crappy wooden sticks. Scary? For other people, maybe. For us? It was like watching toddlers throw tennis balls at a tank. My 3 Xuanjia guards formed a walking fortress. Those shaman fireballs hitting their shields was the saddest thing I've ever witnessed. Little poof sounds. 0 knockback. The shields didn't even get warm. The goblins might as well have been throwing compliments. Pujuan was operating in full murder mode. Every swing of her flaming spear was a goblin deletion event. Roashue was playing Spot the Shaman, like it was a carnival game. Thwip, dead, next, always targeting the casters first because she's not just pretty, she's smart pretty. And Lanchi? My girl was literally just standing next to me looking gorgeous. She didn't even need to heal anyone. She tossed Moon's blessing buffs on Pujuan and Roashue to boost their damage, then just stood there, watching me, with those adoring moon eyes, like I personally hung the stars. Honestly, kinda flattering, kinda unsettling, mostly flattering. Evolution points blew past 100. We were farming. Then something roared. Not a goblin screech. A roar. The ground shook. My stomach did a little flip. Out of a cave stomped the biggest, ugliest goblin I'd ever seen. 2 meters tall. Dark red skin. Muscles on muscles. Wearing a crown made of animal bones and feathers like he was the goblin prom king. In one hand, a massive spiked club that looked like it weighed more than me. Behind him, a dozen goblin warriors acting as his entourage. Goblin chieftain. Tier 3. Elite. Skills. Heavy strike, war stomp, and chieftain's command. The system literally told me to handle with care. First real boss fight. My heartbeat went from relaxed to interesting. Time to play general. Xuanjia guards, front. Pujuan, flank. Roashue, focus, fire the chief. Beautiful synchronized, yes, SIR, from everyone. Goosebumps again. My 3 armored ladies locked shields in a triangle formation and charged straight at King Ugly. He swung that club like he was trying to hit a home run with their skulls. Clang. The lead guard took the full hit. -45 damage. She skidded back 2 steps. 2 steps. That's IT. A tier 3 elite monster's best shot pushed her back 2 steps and took less than a fifth of her health. She grunted, dug her feet in, and shoved her shield right back in his face. Lanchi. Heal. Lanchi raised her delicate hand like she was conducting an orchestra. Soft moonlight dripped down onto the injured guard. 50 HP, fully healed. The chieftain hit her for 45. Lanchi healed for 50. We were literally out healing his damage. This boss was already losing, and he didn't even know it yet. He raised his club for a bigger attack, some kind of power move charging up. Now? Ling Yi, my moon priestess's eyes went razor sharp. She chanted something ancient and beautiful, traced a graceful arc with her fingers, and moon chain, a silver chain made of pure moonlight materialized out of thin air, snaked through the air like a living thing, and wrapped around the chieftain's raised arm. Then his other arm. Then his legs. Then his whole body. He froze, completely locked in place. A big red, bound, icon floating over his head like a dungeon boss getting CC'd in a raid. Everyone, unleash. Peasants was already moving before I finished the sentence. Dragon blood boil, red aura. Maximum power. Flame thrust. She became a crimson streak and drove her flaming spear straight through the chieftain's unguarded chest. Minus 188. Critical hit. Ruoshui followed up instantly. 3 arrows in a triangle pattern. 1 in his eye, 1 in his throat, 1 in another important spot I'd rather not think about. Minus 45. Minus 48. Minus 92 crit. In one burst of focus fire, this supposedly terrifying elite boss lost almost half his health bar. Half. Gone. In about 2 seconds. He broke free from the chains, screaming bloody murder. War Stomp. A shockwave exploded outward and knocked my front line back, stunning everyone for a moment. Then he screamed again, Chieftain's command, and his goblin bodyguards went absolutely feral. Eyes turned red, mouths foaming, charging at us like they just did 17 energy drinks. I didn't even flinch. Ling Yi, defense buffs on the guards. Ruoshui, clean up the trash. Peasants, get ready to finish him. My team moved like a machine. Ling Yi blessed the Xuanjia guards with defensive moonlight. Ruoshui turned around and started one-shotting the charging berserker goblins like she was playing whack-a-mole. Those poor idiots didn't even reach our front line. They died running. Every single one. The stun wore off. Peasants grinned. She launched back at the chieftain, spear blazing, trading blows at close range. Dragon scales versus goblin muscle. The chieftain was hitting her and doing basically nothing. She was hitting him and taking chunks. Ling Yi locked him down with moon chain one more time. Peasants wound up a massive horizontal sweep and thwack. His head went flying. Just sailing through the air. Separated from the body mid-roar. Landed somewhere in the bushes. Goblin chieftain elite killed. 20 evolution points. Achievement unlocked. First elite kill. Reward. Bronze treasure chest X1. 20 points from 1 kill. And a treasure chest. First achievement reward. The remaining goblins in the cave took one look at their headless leader and ran screaming into the darkness. I let them go. I had bigger things to focus on, like the beautiful, glowing bronze chest sitting next to the chieftain's decapitated body, humming with promise. My eyes locked onto it like a kid on Christmas morning who just spotted the biggest present under the tree. I approached that bronze chest like a man approaching a winning slot machine. My girls immediately formed a protective circle around me. 6 pairs of beautiful eyes all staring at the glowing box like cats watching a laser pointer. I crouched down, put my hand on the cold lid, and whispered, "Open." Click. 2 items sitting inside on a cushion of soft teal light. A scroll of old parchment and a fist-sized gray crystal pulsing with faint energy. Item 1, Level 1 Barracks Construction Blueprint. My heart did a backflip. A barracks. A whole entire barracks. The thing I desperately needed to mass-produce soldiers, just casually sitting in a treasure chest like it was no big deal. Effect, train 10 soldiers per day. 10. My upgraded Spring of Life gives me 4 recruits daily, and now I'm adding 10 more on top? That's 14 new bodies per day. I'm not building an army, I'm running a factory. Item 2, Low-Quality Energy Crystal. Can be used as a power core for buildings or broken down into 100 wood and 100 stone. More resources. On day 1, while other lords are probably punching trees with their bare hands trying to scrape together enough wood for a fence, I'm over here swimming in materials like a budget Scrooge McDuck. "My lord, are you all right?" Ling Yi asked, probably because my face was doing something weird from all the excitement. "I'm great. Better than great. I'm having the best first day in the history of first days." I gave everyone their flowers. Told Ling Yi her crowd control was the MVP play. She blushed so hard her face matched the moonlight in her hair and mumbled something about being honored to serve. Told my Xuanjia guards they were the backbone of the team. Couldn't see their faces behind those metal masks, but I could feel the pride radiating off them like heat from a furnace. Let's check the cave. Might be more goodies inside. The chieftain's cave smelled like someone had stored raw meat inside a gym sock for 6 months. Bones everywhere. Trash everywhere. This goblin was living like a college freshman with 0 parental supervision. Pujuan's flaming spear doubled as a torch. Very convenient. 10 out of 10 multi-purpose weapon. While Ruoxue covered every corner with her bow, like a professional SWAT operator who happens to be an elf supermodel. At the back of the cave we found the chieftain's bedroom, and by bedroom I mean a pile of straw and animal skins that probably violated several health codes. Next to it, a busted wooden box. I kicked it open. A few dozen iron coins and some dried meat jerky. Wow. The chieftain's life savings. This guy was the goblin equivalent of broke. Couldn't even afford furniture. I almost felt bad for decapitating him. Almost. Well, it's something, I shrugged. We regrouped outside. One of the Xuanjia guards handed me a sack of loot, about 100 copper coins, and some garbage-tier equipment good for nothing except being recycled into basic materials. Not exciting, but every little bit counts when you're building a civilization from scratch. Move out. We're heading home. On the march back, I pulled up my stats. Evolution points, 165. 165. In one day, from 0 to 165 through pure strategic goblin genocide. That's enough for multiple major evolutions. My brain was already doing the math on what to upgrade next. Should I evolve my current troops higher? Wait for the barracks to pump out new soldiers and evolve them? I glanced at Pujuan, who was striding beside me with her flaming spear resting on her shoulder like a baseball bat, looking like the final boss of someone else's story. Evolution. Always evolution. The answer is always more evolution. But first things first, I needed to upgrade my Lord's Manor to level 2. That unlocks new building slots and expands territory range. Foundation before decoration. Smart Lord stuff. The white glow of our protective barrier appeared through the trees, and honestly, it felt like coming home. Not the crappy wooden shack home. Real home. My territory. My kingdom. My tiny little empire that was about to get a whole lot less tiny. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and led my squad of 6 elite warrior women back through the barrier. Day 1 isn't even over and I've got an elf sniper, a moon priestess, a dragon warrior, 3 heavy tanks, 165 evolution points, a barracks blueprint, and an energy crystal. Somewhere out there, a guy with an F-rank farming talent is crying into his single potato. I almost feel sorry for everyone else. Almost. Back at base, I stared at my level 1 Lord's Manor, which was basically a wooden shack with delusions of grandeur, and pulled up the upgrade screen. Upgrade cost, 200 wood, 200 stone. What I had, 58 wood, 41 stone. Absolutely pathetic. I was trying to buy a house with pocket change. But I had that energy crystal. YET. Decomposed it instantly. 100 wood, 100 stone. Then I broke down every piece of goblin garbage we'd collected, rusty swords, dented shields, things that belonged in a dumpster, into raw materials. Still short. I looked around my territory at the trees and rocks just sitting there, existing, being useless. You 3, I pointed at my Xuanjia guards. Go chop down every tree and mine every rock in this territory. 3-tier, 3 heavily armored elite warriors, designed for battlefield dominance. Immediately grabbed axes and started doing lumberjack duty. They didn't even question it. Loyalty 100 means you swing an axe when the boss says swing an axe. Overqualified? Absolutely. Effective? Extremely. These women punched through goblin skull formations an hour ago, and now they're harvesting birch trees with the same intensity. Resources hit 200/200. Upgrade time. A golden pillar of light descended from the heavens and swallowed my entire shack. The wood expanded, grew taller, wider. Magic runes crawled across the walls. Windows appeared. A second floor materialized. My crappy cabin transformed into an actual 2-story fantasy manor. Lord's Manor upgraded to level 2. Territory expanded from 1,000 square meters to 10,000. 10 times bigger. New building slots unlocked. New structures available. Warehouse, housing, farmland. Citizen loyalty went up by 5 across the board just because the headquarters got fancier. Apparently, people respect you more when you don't live in a glorified shed. Who knew? Immediately pulled out the barracks blueprint. Use it, placed it facing the forest edge, strategic positioning. If enemies come, the barracks troops respond first. Big brain, Lord Energy. Barracks construction cost, 150 wood, 100 stone, 20 iron. I check my wallet. Current resources, 46 wood, 23 stone, 31 iron. I literally just spent everything on the manor upgrade. I was resource broke again. Building a kingdom is like having a gambling addiction, except the casino is made of lumber and rocks, and it always wins. But then my eyes drifted to my evolution points. 165 of them. Beautiful, shiny, full of potential. And my gaze landed on the spring of life. Evolution cost, 50 points. 50 points is steep. That's 50 dead goblins worth of investment. But here's my logic. I need more workers to gather resources faster. The spring of life makes workers. Evolving it means more workers. More workers means faster everything. It's not spending, it's investing. I'm basically Warren Buffett if Warren Buffett's portfolio was made of magical elf women. Evolve. Green life energy engulfed the fountain. The water started boiling. Gold flecks appeared in the liquid. The stone platform got covered in glowing runes. Spring of life evolved to level 3. Rarity rare. Daily recruitment doubled from 4 to 8. High potential citizen probability increased. 8 free recruits per day. 8. I'm not recruiting anymore. I'm running an immigration department. Lanchi was standing behind me staring like I just split the Red Sea. My lord, you are truly magnificent. Her eyes were doing that sparkly worship thing again. At this point, I think she'd write a religion about me if I asked. I walked up to my shiny upgraded fountain and hit recruit. 8 figures emerged from the glowing water. 4 cat-eared girls with fluffy tails and tiny frames. Beast KN. Actual cat girls. This game is cat girls. I am not complaining. 4 tall, tanned, athletic human women radiating. I just finished a CrossFit class. Energy. All 8 dropped to their knees immediately. We greet the master. Potentials range from F to E. Nothing spectacular, but I didn't need spectacular right now. I needed hands. All of you, go collect resources. I want that barracks built before dark. Yes, SIR. 8 eager workers joined the 3 Xuanjia guards who were already mining and chopping like their lives depended on it. 11 people gathering resources at once. My territory looked like an ant colony on a deadline. By nightfall, barracks resources, complete. I slammed the build button. Stone walls rose from the ground. A military structure materialized with actual intimidating energy. Training dummies inside. Weapon racks. The whole deal. Level 1 barracks complete. Daily training capacity. 10 soldiers. Train. All 10 slots. Swordsman. The doors closed. Clanging sounds. Battle cries. 10 minutes of what sounded like a very intense boot camp happening at fast-forward speed. The doors opened. 10 women marched out in formation. Matching leather armor. Standard issue longswords. Young faces, hard eyes. They moved in sync, boots hitting the ground at exactly the same time. Greetings, my lord. 10 new soldiers. Just like that. On day 1. Let me do the math for everyone at home. I now have 1 dragon warrior, 3 heavy tanks, 1 elf sniper, 1 moon priestess, 10 fresh swords women, 8 workers, and 115 remaining evolution points. Most lords are currently hugging a single farmer and praying for survival. I looked at Pejuan. She was standing in the moonlight, flaming spear resting casually on her shoulder, dragon horns catching the light, looking like a character select screen from a game rated M for magnificent. And a thought crept into my brain. A beautiful, reckless, absolutely irresponsible thought. What if I evolved Pejuan? Again? The moonlight was gentle. My thoughts were not. I was staring at Pejuan like a mad scientist staring at his greatest experiment, thinking, what if I push the button again? She was already tier 4. Already a dragon-blooded war machine. Already capable of turning goblin warriors into confetti. But what if she could be more? The thought latched onto my brain like a parasite and refused to let go. Tier 5 in the newbie phase? Nobody on this entire continent has that. Nobody. That's not just winning the game. That's playing a different game entirely. Screw it. We're doing this, Pejuan. Here, my lord. She dropped to one knee instantly. Golden slit pupil eyes burning with absolute devotion. This woman would walk into a volcano if I pointed at one. Want to evolve again? She literally trembled with excitement. Her whole body shook like I just offered her the greatest gift in the universe. Which, technically, I did. I am willing. I offer everything to my master. Her voice was cracking from pure hype. Same energy as a kid being told Christmas is happening twice this year. I placed my hand on her forehead. Deep breath. Consume 100 evolution points. Evolve Dragon Blood Warrior. 100 points. That's my entire Goblin Genocide savings account. Burned in one transaction. The most expensive impulse purchase of my life. Then the system hit me with a warning I did not expect. Warning: consecutive high-intensity evolution on the same unit has an extremely high probability of triggering unknown mutation. Proceed with caution. Unknown. Mutation. Proceed with caution. Those are the kind of words that make smart people stop and think. I am not smart people. Fortune favors the bold. Confirm. Boom. The energy that erupted from my palm was insane. Not like before. Not gentle green light or soft white glow. This was a pillar of gold and crimson fire that shot straight into the sky and literally pushed the moonlight away. The moon itself took a step back. My evolution just outflexed a celestial body. A dragon roar exploded from inside the light pillar. Not a cute little growl. A real dragon roar. The kind that vibrates your ribcage and makes your ancestors nervous. Every single person in my territory collapsed. My Xuanjia guards, Tier 3 heavy tanks in full plate armor, crumpled like wet paper. The cat girls, flat on the ground. The new swordswomen, pile of trembling limbs. Even Lanshi and Ruoshui, my two strongest veterans, went pale as ghosts and could barely stand. What? What kind of power I asked this? Lanshi whispered, looking like she'd just witnessed God walk past. I was standing right in front of the pillar, wind slamming my clothes, energy trying to push me back. I didn't move an inch. I planted my feet and watched, because a good lord doesn't flinch when his investment is cooking. Inside the light, Pajuan's red armor shattered into pieces. Then golden fire rebuilt it from scratch. Her body stretched taller. Two massive dragon wings, actual wings, materialized on her back, made of pure concentrated energy, spreading out wide enough to block the sky. The light faded, and I forgot how to breathe. She was floating. In the air. Hovering above the ground like gravity was a suggestion she politely declined. Her hair was living fire, crimson strands flowing and burning without heat. Her armor was now gold and red dragon scale, sculpted so perfectly it looked like it was painted onto her body by a divine artist with zero chill. Her weapon had changed too. The flaming spear was gone, replaced by a massive dragon fang greatsword wreathed in roaring flames. This wasn't a weapon, it was a statement. And on her forehead, two golden dragon horns had grown in, small and elegant, somehow making her look both terrifyingly powerful and devastatingly beautiful at the same time, which should be illegal. I opened her stat panel, and my soul left my body for approximately 3 seconds. Dragon Descendant Ward God Pajuan, mutated, Tier 5 quality, legendary, unique, loyalty, 100, diehard, skills, Dragon God Bloodline, passive, Blazing Dragon Breath, Dragon Descendant's Wrath, Human Dragon Form, locked, note, a supreme warrior who bathed in dragon blood and awakened the ancient Dragon God Bloodline. She is the most brilliant star on the battlefield. She is your sharpest blade. Her potential is limitless, Tier 5, legendary quality, unique class. She has Dragon Breath. She has a Rage mode. And there's a locked skill called Human Dragon Form, which I can only assume means she can turn into an actual dragon at some point, and if that's true, I might actually pass out. Her potential isn't even rated anymore. It just says limitless. The system gave up trying to measure her and wrote, "Good luck, she's beyond our pay grade, Master." Her voice floated down from above, deeper now, husky, with an undertone that could melt steel. She descended slowly, golden wings folding, and knelt before me. Her new armor clinked softly. Certain assets shifted with the movement in ways that were frankly disrespectful to my concentration. Your servant, Pajuan, greets the master. I could physically feel the power rolling off her like heat from a bonfire. This woman could probably solo the entire goblin forest. This woman could probably solo most lords. I reached down and pulled her to her feet. From now on, You are my strongest blade. Her golden dragon eyes ignited with war fire. I will cut down all enemies for my master. 100 evolution points. Best 100 points I've ever spent. No regrets. 0. Absolutely none. Somewhere out there, Li Haoran and his A-rank beast talent are feeling a chill they can't explain. Everyone was still on the ground trembling from Pujuan's evolution shockwave. My cat girls, my swordswomen, even my veterans, all sprawled out like someone had hit the disable legs button on the entire territory. Pujuan's dragon aura had basically slapped every living thing in a 50-meter radius into submission. Everyone up? I didn't yell. Didn't need to. Something about my voice just worked. Maybe it's a Lord thing. Maybe it's the confidence of a man standing next to a tier 5 legendary dragon warrior he personally created from a random spear girl 2 hours ago. Either way, everyone scrambled to their feet like I'd pressed the undo button on gravity. Time to build an actual organization. Can't run an empire with vibes alone. Pujuan, you're my first word general. All combat units report to you. She saluted with a fist to her chest. Clean. Sharp. This woman went from nameless soldier to supreme commander in one evening. Talk about a career speedrun. Ling Yi, internal affairs and logistics. Every non-combat citizen is under your management. She bowed gracefully, white robes flowing. The perfect politician. Soft hands, sharp mind. Ruoshui, reconnaissance, perimeter security, and build me a ranged division. She tightened her grip on her bow and nodded. No wasted words. No wasted motion. Professional to the bone. The 3 Xuanjia guards and 10 swordswomen fell under Pujuan's command automatically. Organizational chart, complete. HR department. Just me making decisions and hoping for the best. I looked at my team and felt something I hadn't felt since arriving in this world. Not just survival instinct. Not just excitement. Satisfaction. I had a war god, a priestess, a sniper, elite tanks, infantry, workers, and cat girls. The foundation of a real kingdom. All right, everyone rest. Ling Yi, take the new recruits to the housing. Pujuan, Ruoshui, you're staying in the manor with me. My upgraded lord's manor was actually livable now. 2 floors. A proper meeting hall downstairs. Storage room. Upstairs had my bedroom and spare rooms. I gave Pujuan and Ruoshui the rooms next to mine. Top generals get top accommodations. Also, I need them close in case something attacks at 3 a.m. That's the official reason. Write that down. Ruoshui said, thank you, with the emotional range of a brick wall, and disappeared into her room. Classic Ruoshui. All business. Zero small talk. Incredible. Pujuan, however, did not leave. She was standing in my doorway. Moonlight hitting her gold-red armor. Shadows doing extremely favorable things to her silhouette. Her whole body was radiating heat like a space heater that went to the gym. Master. She stepped closer. A wave of heat hit me, sulfur and some kind of intoxicating perfume mixed together, like standing downwind from a volcano that wears designer fragrance. My dragon blood is still boiling. Her voice had dropped into this husky, magnetic register that should require a license to operate. Her golden slit eyes were literally smoldering. 2 actual flames dancing in those pupils. I backed up, hit the doorframe. Nowhere to retreat. My back was literally against the wall. Classic horror movie positioning, except the monster was a 6-foot dragon goddess who wanted to hold my hand. How? How do you want to calm it down? My voice cracked. I'm not proud of it. She reached out, slowly, carefully, and wrapped her armored fingers around my hand. Her palm was hot, like grabbing a fresh coffee mug that's been sitting on the sun, scalding. But the moment our hands connected, this wild energy surged into my body, and instead of burning me, it felt amazing. Every cell in my body threw a tiny party. Ding. You received Dragon Chi feedback from the Dragon Descendant War God. Constitution permanently 1. Excuse me? I'm getting permanent stat boost from holding her hand? This is the greatest ability interaction in the history of ability interactions. My dragon warrior needs physical contact to calm her blood, and it makes me physically stronger? This isn't a side effect. This is a feature. Pujuan's flames cooled down. Her eyes went from burning inferno to warm candlelight. She looked at me with an expression that was way too soft for someone who decapitated a boss monster 3 hours ago. Master's presence brings Pujuan peace. She squeezed my hand tighter. Her whole terrifying war god energy melted into something dangerously tender. I was sweating. Not from the heat. From the situation. Okay, great. Good talk. I pulled my hand back with the urgency of a man defusing a bomb. Come back tomorrow for another, calming session. Now go sleep. Big day tomorrow. Very important. Can't be tired. Good night. Yes, master, she lingered. Gave me one last look that contained approximately 14 different emotions I was not equipped to process. Then she turned, armor clinking, golden horns catching the light, and walked into her room. I slammed my door shut and leaned against it, breathing like I'd just sprinted a marathon. The air still smelled like her. Sulfur and flowers. Dragon perfume. That woman is going to be the death of me. I shook my head, grabbed my composure off the floor where I dropped it, and opened the world chat to distract myself. After a full day of everyone living in this new world, the chat had turned into absolute chaos. I opened world chat, and it hit me like a fire hose of human misery. Help! I'm surrounded by dire wolves. All my troops are dead. I'll give everything I own. Someone please. I farmed goblins all day and didn't get a single drop. Not even a toenail. I'm cooked when protection ends. Bro, I found a trick. If you yell, "I'm your daddy" at goblins, the drop rate goes up. Tested it myself. I tried that, and now they're chasing me even harder. They seem ANGRIR, comedy gold. Absolute circus. I love this channel. Then some guy named Zhao Tianlong pinned a message with a screenshot. A wolf rider. Tier 2. Curved sword. Big black wolf. Looking like a discount Genghis Khan cosplay. See this? Tier 2 grassland wolf cavalry. I'm the king of everything within 10 miles. Come fight me if you dare. The chat went nuclear. People worshipping him. People begging to join him. People crying about their tier 1 militia being useless. Someone literally offered to trade their succubus citizen for his protection. Down bad. I glanced at the screenshot again. Tier 2. Wolf Rider. I could hear Pejuan breathing through the wall next to me. Slow, deep breaths. Like a sleeping volcano. Every exhale carried heat. My tier 5. Legendary quality. Unique class dragon descendant war god who literally pushed the moon out of the sky during her evolution. This man is flexing a bicycle, and I'm sitting on a stealth bomber. I scrolled past his cringe parade, and something caught my eye before it got buried in the chat flood. Intel, Black Wind Forest outskirts. Coordinates, 759, 1244. Bronze treasure chest spotted. Guarded by a tier 1 goblin elite and dozens of regular goblins. I'm too weak to take it. Anyone nearby want to team up? We split the loot, some guy calling himself Bikesioshing. Trying to be an information broker. Smart hustle, honestly. But the words bronze treasure chest made my pupils dilate like a cat seeing a laser pointer. Chest rankings go: black iron, bronze, silver, gold. My first chest was black iron tier, and it gave me a barracks blueprint. A bronze chest could have something game-changing inside. And the guards? A single tier, 1 elite goblin, and some basic mobs? Brother, I have a dragon war god. Those goblins aren't guards, they're a welcome mat. That chest is mine. I saved the coordinates. Black Wind Forest wasn't far. Pejuan could sprint there in 30 minutes. Tomorrow I'll train 10 more soldiers and bring the whole army for a field trip. Perfect shakedown mission. I was about to close chat when a blood-red announcement banner slammed across my screen. Regional announcement. Blood Moon Forest, Cinder, Wang Tung, Blood Moon Forest, and surrounding areas now belong to MY Soaring Dragon Guild. All lords in this region, surrender before protection ends. Hand over your female citizens and half your resources for protection. Refuse, and when the barrier drops, I will leave nothing alive. My talent is A-rank army command. My starting unit is tier 3 Griffin Knight. Test me if you dare. World chat erupted. Who is this psycho? A-rank talent. Tier 3 Griffin Knights? It's over. My territory is near Blood Moon Forest. I don't want to give up my cat girl citizens. People panicking. People crying. Wang Tung's announcement hanging over everyone like a death sentence. I read it again. Then I smiled. Griffin Knights? Tier 3? A-rank talent? Cute. My territory was technically within Blood Moon Forest's range, which meant this wannabe warlord was going to come knocking on MY door eventually. And when he does, he'll find a tier 5 legendary dragon war god waiting for him with a flaming sword and a very bad attitude. Soaring Dragon Guild. Wang Tong. I filed the name away in my brain under future entertainment, closed the chat, stared at the ceiling. 15 evolution points left, basically pocket change. Not enough to do anything meaningful. Tomorrow's priority was crystal clear. Hunt the bronze chest, farm evolution points, and keep building. Morning hit, and I was out the door before the sun finished rising. Pujuan and Ruoshui were already waiting outside my manor like two bodyguards from completely different anime genres. Pujuan, golden horns, flaming armor, radiating, I will end civilizations, energy. Ruoshui, silver hair, green eyes, radiating, I will silently put an arrow through your brain from 200 meters, energy. Good morning, master. Both bowed simultaneously. The view was distracting. Moving on. Straight to the barracks. 10 training slots refreshed. All swordsmen. 10 minutes later, 10 more women marched out in perfect formation. Fresh recruits. Eager faces. Sharp swords. Army headcount. 26 combat units. 1 tier, 5 legendary dragon war god. 1 tier, 3 moon priestess. 1 tier, 3 elf archer. 3 tier, 3 heavy Xuanjia guards. 20 tier, 1 swordswomen. Day 2. Most lords have maybe 3 or 4 shaky soldiers and a prayer. I'm mobilizing a platoon. All units, move out. 26 women snap to attention. Target, Black Wind Forest. Goblin tribe. And 1 very shiny treasure chest with MY name on it. Black Wind Forest lived up to its name like a 5-star Yelp review for depression. Trees so thick and tall they blocked out the sun like nature's blackout curtains. The air smelled like rotting leaves marinated in swamp water. Random bird screams echoing from deep inside like the forest had its own horror movie soundtrack, playing 24/7. Stay alert, everyone. Behind me marched the most ridiculous newbie army this world has ever seen. Pujuan up front, a walking bonfire in gold-red dragon armor, flaming greatsword humming with, I dare you, energy. The shadows literally ran away from her. 3 Xuanjia guards behind her. Mobile fortress, tower shields up, heavy armor clanking, showing nothing but cold eyes through their visors. 20 swordswomen on the flanks, tier 1, sure, but marching in formation with actual military energy. Nervous? A little. Excited? A lot. Their matching leather armor was doing an excellent job of showcasing their youthful enthusiasm for violence. Lanchi in the center, holding a jade green staff, radiating calm energy like a walking therapy session. Every time a swordswoman looked nervous, Lanchi's glow would wash over them, and they'd instantly chill out. She's not just a healer, she's an emotional support priestess. And Ruoshui? Gone. Vanished. Invisible. She'd melted into the treetops like a ghost made of moonlight and murder, leaping between branches like a deadly squirrel with a longbow. Master, 5 goblins patrolling 300 meters ahead. Her voice came from directly above me. From a tree I didn't even know she was in. This woman could sneak up on a shadow. Handle 3 of them. Yes. Thwip. 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 3 sounds. Practically simultaneous. 300 meters away, 3 goblin heads popped like green watermelons at a baseball batting cage. Brains and green juice everywhere. The remaining 2 goblins just stood there, staring at the headless bodies of their friends, buffering like a bad internet connection. Shields and swords, go. My 3 Xuanjia guards charged like armored freight trains. One of them shield bashed a goblin so hard it flew backward through several trees before landing in a crumpled heap of broken bones. That goblin got hit so hard its grandchildren felt it. The last goblin turned to run. 20 swordswomen swarmed it like piranhas on a chicken nugget. Die, ugly, one of the braver girls screamed, driving her sword straight through its chest. Green blood splattered all over her face and armor. She froze for a second. Then her eyes lit up with the unmistakable glow of someone who just discovered they love combat. Kill, the others screamed. And then all of them started hacking at the already dead goblin like it owed them money. By the time they were done, the goblin wasn't a goblin anymore. It was abstract art. Green abstract art. 5 evolution points. Nice work. I nodded at my blood-splattered rookies, all grinning like they'd just passed their final exams. First blood, the most important milestone for any soldier. They went from nervous trainees to battle-hungry warriors in 60 seconds. We pushed deeper. More goblin patrols. More one-sided massacres. Ruashui would snipe the dangerous ones. The swordswomen would charge the rest, and Pujuan would stand there looking bored because nothing required her involvement. She was basically a nuclear weapon at a fistfight, present but unnecessary. Evolution points kept climbing. Then we arrived at the coordinates. Ruashui materialized beside me like she'd been there the whole time. Very unsettling. Very cool. Master, goblin camp ahead. Approximately 50 hostiles. One larger goblin in the center, the elite. The treasure chest is in a wooden shed behind it. I can sense energy inside. 50 goblins. One elite. One treasure chest. I looked through the trees at their camp. It was disgusting. Broken wood, animal skins, garbage everywhere. Goblins lounging around. Some sleeping, some play fighting, some doing things I wish I could unsee. This place made a landfill look like a luxury resort. Time for pest control. Pujuan. Here, my lord. She stepped forward. Flames erupted along her dragon fang greatsword. Her face, beautiful, fierce, absolutely terrifying, was lit up in crimson firelight. She looked like a painting titled, "The Last Thing You'll Ever See." One task. Charge in there. Find the elite. Crush it. ASU command. Her eyes went supernova with battle lust. And then she moved. Boom. She became a streak of gold-red light and smashed through the camp entrance like a cannonball through a paper wall. Trees, fences, wooden structures, everything in her path disintegrated on contact. She wasn't entering the camp. She was demolishing it while walking in a straight line. A dragon roar erupted from her that shook the entire forest. Birds fled. Trees vibrated. The air itself got scared. Every single goblin in the camp instantly crumbled. Legs gave out. Bodily functions gave out. Eyes went wide with pure, soul-deep terror. Dragon aura hit them like a spiritual sledgehammer. 50 goblins reduced to 50 puddles of quivering, whimpering, pants-ruining fear. In the center of the camp, one goblin fought it. The elite. Bigger than the rest. Holding a massive rusty cleaver, roaring back defiantly, trying to organize a counterattack through sheer willpower. Brave little guy. Wrong day for bravery, though. Because falling from the sky above him was a 6-foot dragon warrior with golden horns and a flaming blade the size of a surfboard. Die. Pujuan descended like divine judgment with a sword attached. Splorch. That's the sound a goblin elite makes when a tier 5 legendary dragon warrior drops from the sky and splits it in half like a hot knife through butter. Actually, no. Butter puts up more resistance. The blade went through that goblin like it wasn't even there. And before the two halves could hit the ground, dragon fire incinerated them into ASH midair. The goblin went from alive to dust particle in less than 1 second. 10 evolution points. 1 shot. 1 delete. This wasn't a fight. It was an uninstall. Kill them all. Cold voice. My voice. When did I become the guy who says stuff like that? Day 2 and I'm already issuing extermination orders like a villain origin story. Except I'm the hero. Probably. My army unleashed. The Xuanjia guard sealed the only exit like 3 armored bouncers at a club that's permanently closed. Every shield swing turned a goblin into a green pancake. These women weren't fighting. They were remodeling the landscape using goblin bodies as construction material. My 20 swordswomen went absolutely feral. 2-person teams, 3-person squads, hunting down goblins like it was a competitive sport. One girl dodged a wooden club swing, did this incredible leg pivot that looked like it belonged in a dance recital, and sliced a goblin's head clean off in one motion. The head went flying. Blood fountain everywhere. She licked her lips and charged the next target without blinking. Yesterday, these girls were nervous rookies holding swords for the first time. Today, they're collecting heads like baseball cards. War changes people fast. A tiny cat-eared swordswoman was zipping between goblins like a caffeinated hummingbird with a knife. Every strike, heart, eye, heart, eye. Precision kills from the smallest soldier on the field. Never underestimate a cat girl with a blade and a point to prove. The whole thing lasted minutes. 52 goblins. 0 survivors. 0 friendly casualties. The camp looked like modern art made exclusively from green body parts and regret. 52 evolution points from the camp alone. 67 total from this expedition. Clean up. Grab everything useful. My girls spread out, collecting goblin junk, rusty weapons, scattered resources, anything recyclable. They were covered in blood and grinning like kids after a water balloon fight. Beautiful. Terrifying. My people. I walked straight to the wooden shed at the back of the camp. Pajuan beside me, flaming sword still crackling, looking like she wished there were more things to kill. Inside the shed, there it was. Half a meter long, bronze-colored, glowing softly, covered in rough engravings with a simple clasp on front. Bronze treasure chest. Open. Click. The lid popped open and teal light flooded the dark shed like someone opened a portal to Christmas. 3 items inside. A yellowed skill book, an ancient building blueprint, and a glowing stone. My eyes went to the blueprint first because I'm a builder at heart and buildings are my addiction. Moonwell construction blueprint. Rarity. Rare. Blue. I read the description and my brain went to space. Special building. Produces 10 units of moonlight spring water daily. The water boosts recovery speed and mental power for anyone who drinks it. Effects doubled for female units and elf-type units. Doubled for female units. My entire army is female. Every single soldier. This building was literally designed for me. The universe looked at my all-women combat force and said, "Here, have a free performance-enhancing water fountain that works twice as well because of your exact army composition. And there's a passive aura, 20% mana regeneration for all friendly units within 100 meters. Ling Yi is going to become a spell-spamming machine." I was vibrating with excitement. Actually physically vibrating. If happiness was electricity, I could have powered a small city. Item 2. Skill book, Eagle Eye. Green quality. Passive skill. Expands vision range and improves dynamic sight. Not flashy, but extremely practical for a commander who needs to see everything on the battlefield. I learned it instantly. A cool wave washed through my eyeballs, and suddenly the world was in 4K Ultra HD. I could see a caterpillar crawling on a leaf 30 meters away. I could probably count its legs. This is the kind of upgrade that doesn't sound exciting, but saves your life when you spot an ambush from half a kilometer out. Item 3. Moonlight Stone. Rare. Blue. A pure moonlight energy crystal. Required material for building the moonwell. The chest gave me the blueprint and the special ingredient needed to build it. In one box. That's like winning a car and getting free gas for a year. The universe isn't just being nice to me. It's actively simping for my success. Total haul from this expedition. 67 evolution points, a special rare building blueprint, a passive vision skill, the construction material for said building, plus a mountain of recyclable goblin garbage. I walked out of the shed feeling like a CEO who just closed 3 deals in one meeting. My girls were assembled outside, blood-stained and battle-hardened, standing at attention with warrior pride in their eyes. 12 hours ago, half of them didn't exist. Now they're veterans. Outstanding work. Pack everything up. We're heading home. Somewhere out there, that information broker Xiaoxing is still trying to find someone to team up with for this chest. Sorry, buddy. Finders keepers. Except I didn't find it. I conquered it. Ling Yi organized the loot collection like a tiny accountant in holy robes. The final goblin haul was, well, let me read you the receipt. 35 broken wooden sticks. 12 rusty machetes. 48 goblin grass skirts. 48 grass skirts. What were they even doing with 48 grass skirts? Was there a goblin fashion show I wasn't invited to? Actually, don't answer that. I recycled all of it into raw materials without a second thought. Everything goblins own belongs in a dumpster, and I turned that dumpster into construction supplies. About 100 units of wood and stone total, plus some iron scraps. Not life-changing, but every brick counts when you're speed-running a civilization. Back at base, I had one priority burning a hole in my brain. Build the moon. Well, I pulled out the blueprint, slapped it down, and hit confirm before the system even finished asking. Cost: 200 wood, 200 stone, 1 moonlight stone. Do it. White light bloomed from the ground like the earth was giving birth to something holy. The ground trembled. White jade stones rose from beneath the surface, arranging themselves into an elegant well with carved patterns along the rim. Crystal clear water filled the basin, and hovering above the water was this soft moonlight glow that smelled like a spa designed by angels. Just standing near this thing, I could feel my mental energy recovering. My brain went from tired from a long day of goblin genocide, to refreshed and ready for more goblin genocide. in about 10 seconds. Lan Shi, Ruoshui, get over here. They approached and immediately locked onto the well like it was calling their names. Their eyes went wide. I could literally see their bodies leaning toward it involuntarily, like moths to the most beautiful lamp ever constructed. Drink. I scooped out a handful of spring water and handed it over. Lan Shi sipped it delicately. Of course she did. She does everything delicately, and her whole body relaxed like someone had pressed the spa day button on. Her soul. So comfortable, she breathed, her face flushing pink, looking like she'd just had the best bath of her life, except it was one sip of water. Her mana bar was visibly refilling in real time. All her battle fatigue, gone, evaporated. Ruoshui, being Ruoshui, grabbed her portion and chugged it like a soldier downing a protein shake. No savoring, no elegance, just pure efficiency. Then her body jolted. She made a sound that was halfway between a gasp and a growl. As a half-elf, the moonlight energy hit her double. The water was basically rocket fuel for her bloodline. Her eyes flew open, and they were glowing with barely contained power. Thank you, Master. Both bowed simultaneously. Then I made the executive decision to let all my soldiers drink from the well. Every swordswoman, every guard, everyone who fought today. My territory turned into a wellness retreat for warrior women. Happy sounds everywhere. Girls gasping as the water hit their systems. Satisfied sighs floating through the air. One girl giggled. Another one did a little excited hop. A cat-eared swordswoman's tail was wagging so hard I thought it might detach. This is my kingdom. It's weird. I love it. I pulled up my stat panel to admire my empire. Level 2 territory. SSS-rank talent. 67 evolution points. 1 tier, 5 legendary dragon war god. 1 tier, 3 moon priestess. 1 tier, 3 elf archer. 3 tier, 3 heavy guards. And 20 tier, 1 swordswoman. 67 evolution points. What to evolve next? The Moonwell? Could become something insane if evolved. The barracks? Higher tier recruits. My existing soldiers? Instant army upgrade. I looked at my 20 swordswomen. They were my biggest group. My backbone. My infantry. And right now, they were tier 1, the lowest combat rank. Everyone else in my army was tier 3 or higher. These girls were basically interns standing next to executives. Time to fix that. Everyone, formation. Front of the manor. Now, 20 freshly hydrated, moon water-powered sword girls lined up in perfect rows. Glowing skin from the spring water. Bright eyes. Eager faces. They had no idea what was coming. System. Select all 20 swordswomen. Mass evolution. Cost. 1 point each. 20 total. Confirm? Confirm. 20 pillars of white light slammed down from the sky simultaneously like the world's most expensive light show. Each beam locked onto one swordswoman, engulfing her completely. 20 evolutions. At once. In one command. Other lords are evolving nothing because they don't have this talent. I'm running a batch upgrade on my entire infantry, like I'm installing a software update on 20 computers at the same time. 20 pillars of blinding white light. 20 girls screaming inside them. Not in pain. Well, maybe a little pain, but mostly in that my entire body is being rebuilt from scratch, and it feels weird but also amazing kind of way. Their leather armor cracked apart and dissolved into sparkles. Silver chainmail materialized in its place, form-fitting, gleaming, with reinforced plates on the important bits. Functional and fashionable. Their basic swords stretched longer, got sharper, and started glowing with faint light trails along the blade. These weren't starter weapons anymore. These were real swords. 30 seconds of light show later, 20 brand new warriors stood before me. Silver light swordsman. Tier 2. Skill, double slash, 2 rapid strikes in quick succession for bonus damage. They were taller, more confident. Their baby faces had sharpened into something fierce and dangerous. Every single one of them radiated, "I will cut you," energy that they absolutely did not have 20 minutes ago. Yesterday, nervous interns. Today, professional killers in matching silver armor. Greetings, Master. 20 synchronized knee drops. 20 voices. Perfect unison. I felt like an emperor reviewing his elite guard. Because I was. I opened my mouth to give a speech. Ding. Anomaly detected during evolution. One unit has mutated into a rare class. My head snapped to the left. There. End of the line. The smallest girl in the squad, one of the cat-eared beastkin. Her body was glowing dark gold. Not white like the others. Not gentle. This glow was sinister. It had intent. Her silver chainmail dissolved and reformed into skin-tight black leather armor that looked like it was sewn from concentrated midnight. Her sword shrank, got thinner, got evil, dark gold snake-like patterns crawling across the blade like living tattoos. Her body language completely changed. She wasn't kneeling anymore. She was crouching. Half kneel, half combat stance. Coiled like a spring. Ready to explode in any direction. Shadow Blade Dancer. Tier 3. Rare. She skipped Tier 2 entirely. Went straight from Tier 1 Rookie to Tier 3 Assassin in one evolution. Skills. Stealth. Go invisible. Next attack gets massive crit bonus. Shadow Strike. Teleport behind the target and deal enormous damage. She's a teleporting invisible cat girl assassin. I need a moment. Let me process that sentence again. Teleporting. Invisible. Cat girl. Assassin. This is the most dangerous cute thing I've ever created. The system description called her a dancer walking in shadows, an artist who harvests lives, the nightmare of every squishy unit. The system just called my cat girl an artist of death. The system has taste. What's your name? She looked up at me with the most hilariously contradictory expression I've ever seen. Big round cat eyes. Trembling lip. Ears twitching nervously. She looked like a kitten who accidentally knocked a glass off a table and was waiting to be scolded. This is a Tier 3 rare assassin who can teleport behind people and one-shot them. And she's looking at me like a scared hamster. Idem. Tong, she stammered. Soft voice. Almost a whisper. Tong. Beautiful name. I reached out and scratched behind her fluffy cat ears. Her entire body locked up. Face went nuclear red. Her ears were so hot I could probably fry an egg on them. Body temperature spiking. But she didn't pull away. She actually leaned into it slightly, then caught herself and buried her face even deeper. This girl can literally vanish into thin air and assassinate someone from behind, but getting her ears scratched turns her into a blushing puddle. The duality of woman. From today, you are my first blade aimed at the enemy's heart. Her head shot up. The scared kitten was gone. In those cat pupils was pure, burning, fanatical loyalty. Yes, master. Tong will never disappoint you. 0 to ride or die in 1 ear scratch. Incredible conversion rate. Final army roster after today's mass evolution. 1 Tier 5 Legendary Dragon War God. 1 Tier 3 Moon Priestess. 1 Tier 3 Elf Archer. 3 Tier 3 Heavy Xuanjia Guards. 1 Tier 3 Shadow Blade Dancer. Cat Girl Assassin Edition. 19 Tier 2 Silver Light Swordsman. 47 evolution points remaining. Territory expanding. Moon well operational. Barracks producing. Army growing. Day 2 isn't even over, and I'm running a military superpower staffed entirely by women who would collectively commit treason against the universe itself, if I asked nicely. 47 points left, and my brain was already buzzing with what to evolve next. 47 evolution points burning a hole in my pocket. Time to go shopping. I surveyed my territory like a CEO reviewing quarterly reports. Lanchi had my workers building a warehouse. Farming fields were being dug. Everything was humming along nicely. My little kingdom was starting to look like an actual place instead of a campsite with delusions of grandeur. But one problem was strangling everything. Resources. Specifically stone and iron. I was running on fumes. Couldn't build an arrow tower. Couldn't build a proper blacksmith. My entire military-industrial complex was bottlenecked by rocks. What about upgrading the manor to level 3? I asked the system. It quoted me 200 evolution points. 200. I have 47. That's like asking for a mansion when you've got rent money for a studio apartment. Hard pass. Evolve Pajuan again. She's tier 5. The cost would probably require me to sell a kidney and 3 internal organs. Next. Then my eyes landed on the freshly built blacksmith shop. Basic structure. Rough stone walls. Baby furnace inside. Looking about as professional as a lemonade stand at an engineering conference. Here's my logic. I can't create more resources right now, but what if I could stretch the ones I have? Better crafting efficiency means more output from less input. That's not solving the problem. That's outsmarting the problem. This is big brain lord energy. System, evolve the blacksmith. Cost, 40 evolution points. 40. That's almost everything I've got. But if it fixes my resource bottleneck. Confirm. Dark red light swallowed the building whole. The rough stone walls melted and reformed, harder, sleeker. The furnace flame went from normal orange to blazing white, so hot the air itself started sweating. Runes flickered across the walls like the building was downloading an upgrade. The whole structure doubled in size. New equipment materialized inside. A quenching pool, a refining station, proper workbenches. My janky backyard forge just became a legitimate workshop. Blacksmith evolved into Forge Workshop, Tier 2. Effect 1. 10% reduced resource cost when crafting standard equipment. Effect 2. Chance to produce, fine, quality gear with 10% boosted stats. 10% savings on every piece of equipment I make. That's not exciting sounding until you realize I'm mass-producing gear for an army of 26 soldiers. 10% across dozens of swords, armor sets, and shields? That adds up. That's potentially hundreds of saved resources over time. And the quality upgrade chance? Random free stat boosts on crafted gear? Some of my girls are going to end up with slightly better swords than others, and I just know there's going to be drama about it. Why does SHE get the shiny one? Because RNG blessed her, that's why. 40 points well spent. 7 remaining. Basically broke again. Story of my life in this world. Get rich, spend everything, repeat. But infrastructure was done for now. Foundation built. Economy improving. Time to find the raw materials to feed the machine. Ruashue. Tong whoosh. Whoosh. 2 figures appeared in front of me instantly. Completely different vibes. Ruashue, tall, composed, silver-haired elf sniper radiating. I could kill you from a mile away, energy. Tong, tiny cat-eared assassin in black leather, fidgeting nervously, ears twitching, radiating, please don't look at me too long, I might combust. Energy despite literally being a teleporting shadow killer. We've built the foundation. Now I need claws, both pairs of eyes sharpened. Scout outward from base. Find me stone quarries and iron deposits. I need to know what's out there. Resources, threats, other lords, everything. I held up a finger. Safety first. You find anything above your weight class or another lord's territory, you come straight back. No heroics. No fights. Intel only. Yes, sir. Ruashue, crisp, professional, already calculating patrol routes in her head. Why yes. Tong, trying so hard to sound tough. Cat ears standing straight up with determination, tail puffed out. They vanished into the forest like they were never there. One like wind through leaves. The other like shadow swallowing shadow. 7 evolution points left. An army of evolved warriors. A forge churning out better gear. A moon well fueling my troops. Scouts in the field hunting for resources. I clenched my fist and stared out at the endless forest stretching to the horizon. This continent has billions of lords on it. Most of them are struggling to survive day 3. Wang Ting thinks he owns Blood Moon Forest with his A-rank talent and Griffin Knights. He has no idea that somewhere in his territory, a man with an SSS-rank unique talent is quietly building a war machine made of dragon warriors, elf snipers, moon priestesses, cat-girl assassins, and an ever-growing army of silver-armored swordswomen. The curtain on this competition just went up, and I haven't even started showing my hand yet. I was standing on my balcony like a proper lord, sipping the metaphorical tea of satisfaction, watching my kingdom actually look like a kingdom for once. Lanchi had the workers organized like a tiny military-grade project manager in holy robes. Warehouse, built. Resources, sorted and stored instead of lying around like a hoarding episode. Farmland, being dug by enthusiastic swordswomen whose idea of agriculture was. Stab the ground until food happens. The moon well was pumping out life energy, keeping everyone tireless, and honestly the whole scene looked like a fantasy recruitment poster. Then 2 blurs shot out of the forest and skidded to a halt below my balcony. Ruashue and Tong, my scouts. Back from recon. Ruashue reported first. Calm. Professional, 0 wasted words. Stone quarry, 3 kilometers southeast. Unguarded. Ready for mining. Stone. Unlimited stone just sitting there waiting for me like a present nobody wrapped. Resource crisis, partially solved. And you, Tong? The little cat-eared assassin knelt in the shadows, somehow finding shade even in broad daylight. It's like darkness follows this girl around out of loyalty, and spoke in her tiny soft voice. A master. 5 kilometers north. Abandoned mine full of iron ore. But her ears drooped. That it's occupied by kobolds. Kobolds. Those dog-faced little hoarder gremlins that live in holes and collect shiny rocks. Low intelligence. Lower hygiene. They're basically the raccoons of fantasy worlds. Annoying, numerous, and nesting inside my future iron mine. How many? About 40 or 50. Mostly tier 1 miners. 7 or 8 tier 2 overseers. And something stronger deep inside. I couldn't get close enough to confirm. Iron mine plus a camp full of evolution point pinatas plus a potential mini-boss at the bottom? This isn't a problem. This is a gift-wrapped opportunity delivered directly to my doorstep by the universe's customer service department. I jumped off the second-floor balcony, stuck the landing, thank you very much, and immediately started ear-scratching Tong as a reward. Her whole body went rigid. Face, tomato red. Ears, vibrating. Tail, doing something between a wag and a seizure. This lethal shadow assassin turns into a malfunctioning plushie every time I touch her ears. It's incredible. I'm never getting tired of this. Time to divide and conquer. Ruashue, take 5 silver swordswomen to the stone quarry. Mine everything. Guard the perimeter. Yes, master. Clean salute. Gone in 2 seconds. Efficiency incarnate. Wanshi, she came running from the farm field, white robes bouncing in ways that would distract a lesser leader. I am a focused leader. I noticed nothing. Moving on. Hold down the fort. Finish the warehouse and farms. Then build arrow towers for defense. She nodded with the intensity of someone being trusted with a nuclear launch code. I will protect our home, master. Pajuan, my dragon war god, was casually cleaning her flaming greatsword by the moon, while like it was a Sunday afternoon hobby. Red battle armor. Black hair tied up. Face that said, I'm bored, please give me something to destroy. Assemble. Xuanjia guards. Silver swordswomen. Tong. Everyone. In less than a minute, 23 warriors stood in perfect formation outside the manor. Pajuan at the front, tier 5 legendary war god, dragon sword on her shoulder, looking like the cover art for a game that costs $70. 3 Xuanjia guards behind her, walking fortresses, tower shields planted, eyes cold as winter. 14 silver swordswomen, tier 2, gleaming armor, sharp swords, high morale, ready to prove themselves. And hiding in the shadows at the very back, barely visible, radiating, you won't see me coming, energy, Tong. My pocket assassin. Target, Kobold Mine, 5 clicks north. Move out. Half an hour of speed marching through quiet forest later, we arrived at a low hill with a dark cave mouth gaping open like nature's ugliest yawn. Abandoned mine carts and rusty pickaxes scattered around the entrance. The smell hit us from 30 meters away. Dirt, sulfur, and whatever kobolds use as deodorant, which is clearly nothing. 2 scrawny kobold guards stood at the entrance, slouching, half asleep, holding pickaxes like they'd rather be literally anywhere else. These 2 couldn't guard a sandwich from a gentle breeze. Tong, go inside. Map the first area. Count enemies. Yes, she dissolved into shadow. Gone. No footsteps. No air displacement. No sound. I was looking directly at her, and she simply stopped existing. This girl could sneak into a room full of motion sensors, laser grids, and guard dogs, steal everything, and leave a thank you note. 30 seconds later, her voice appeared directly in my mind through some kind of mental link I didn't even know she had. Master, 20 meters inside, open area. 15 tier, 1 kobold miners digging. 3 tier, 2 overseers patrolling. I grinned. Pajuan, frontal assault. Break everything. Xuanjia guards, follow her in. Wall formation. Silver swordswomen, sweep both flanks. Clean up. Tong, those 3 overseers are yours. Pajuan's smile was the scariest thing in this forest. Her dragon blade's runes started glowing. The 3 Xuanjia guards raised their tower shields in unison like a steel curtain dropping. The kobolds inside that mine had maybe 30 seconds of peaceful existence left, and they had absolutely no idea. Kill, 1 word. 1 sword point forward. That's all it took. Pajuan exploded toward the cave entrance like a cruise missile with dragon horns. Every footstep cracked the ground beneath her. Those two sleepy kobold guards at the entrance woke up just in time to see a flaming greatsword the size of a surfboard coming at their necks at approximately the speed of regret. Swoosh. Two heads. Airborne. Simultaneous. They flew in opposite directions like the world's worst fireworks display. Blood painted the cave entrance red. They didn't even get to scream. Their mouths were still open in the beginning of a scream, position when their heads separated from the rest of the situation. Fastest career change from guard to decoration I've ever witnessed. 2 evolution points. Pejuan didn't slow down. She barreled into the mine shouting, "For the master," which is both flattering and terrifying when yelled by a woman carrying a sword on fire. Inside, 15 kobold miners dropped their pickaxes and started running in every direction like cockroaches when you turn on the kitchen light. Total chaos. Pure panic. Beautiful. One kobold overseer, slightly taller, holding a whip, started screaming at the miners to fight back. Even whipped one of the runners. "Bro, your motivational techniques need work. Also, you have about 4 seconds to live." My 3 Xuanjia guards sealed the entrance behind Pejuan like a steel curtain dropping on a stage. Nobody getting out. This cave was now a locked room with predators inside. 14 silver swordswomen flowed through the gaps in the shield wall like mercury through cracks. They were beautiful in combat. Every swing precise. Every dodge graceful. Their silver armor caught the torchlight as they danced through kobolds like ballerinas at a butcher shop. Slash. 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 Kobold heads rolling like bowling balls. My brain was getting flooded with evolution point notifications. The sound was basically a slot machine that only hits jackpots. And Tong. Oh, Tong. A shadow appeared behind one of the tier 2 overseers. The overseer sensed something. Started to turn. Too late. A thin blade of cold light crossed its throat faster than thought. Tong was already gone. Already behind the next overseer. Feet touching the cave wall, body weightless. Moving like gravity was a suggestion and physics was a loose guideline. 1 strike move. 1 strike move. 3 overseers. 3 kills. 0 sounds. She fought like water flowing downhill. Inevitable, silent, and impossible to stop. The most adorable killing machine in existence. Under 60 seconds. 20 kobolds. All dead. 0 friendly casualties. My girls didn't have a scratch on them. 24 evolution points. I nodded. Pleased. This was like watching a professional sports team play against kindergartners. Entertaining? Absolutely. Fair. Not even remotely. Then the cave roared. Not a kobold screech. A deep, angry, earth-shaking bellow from the depths. The walls vibrated. Dust rained from the ceiling. Something heavy was coming. Thud. 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 Footsteps like a bass drum. Getting closer. Getting louder. Out of the darkness emerged a kobold twice the size of the others. Crude armor made of rocks and animal hide. In its hand, a twisted staff topped with a murky yellow crystal. Its eyes were different from the regular kobolds. Smarter. Meaner. The look of something that actually had a plan. Kobold Geomancer. Tier 3. Elite. Skills. Earth Spike. Falling Rocks. Rock Armor. A Spellcaster. The first enemy we've faced that uses magic offensively. The system description called it the absolute ruler of the mine. Ruler for now, buddy. Eviction notice just arrived. Behind it, another 20-plus miners poured out of the tunnels, eyes glowing red, weaponized pickaxes raised. The Geomancer had rallied its reserves. Cannon fodder with tools. Interesting, I smiled. Let's see what you've got. Pejuan, smash through that rock armor. Xuanjia guards, hold the line, protect the swordswomen. Tong. I want its eyes. Yes, SIR. The Geomancer slammed its crystal staff into the ground. The entire cave floor erupted. Stone spikes shot upward like a field of deadly stalagmites, aiming directly at my troops' feet. Earth spike. Shields down. My Xuanjia guards moved instantly. 3 tower shields hammered into the ground. Boom, 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 forming an iron wall. Stone spikes shattered against the shields like glass hitting concrete. Ding, 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 ding. The sound of 100 failed attacks. A few spikes slipped through toward the swordswomen behind. But my silver girls were nimble now. Tier 2 agility, battle-hardened reflexes. They twisted, jumped, pivoted between the spikes in the tight space like combat dancers. Not a single one got hit. Every dodge looked like choreography. Now, while it's recovering, Charge! Pujuan became a red lightning bolt. She blew through the kobold meat shields like they were made of tissue paper, bodies flying sideways with broken bones, ragdolling into walls. The geomancer's beady eyes went wide. It clearly did not expect a female warrior to hit, like a freight train doing 90. It panicked, raised the staff, chanted something desperate. A yellow glow wrapped its body and hardened into thick stone armor. Rock armor. Smart move. Won't save you, though, because Pujuan was already eye in the air. Dragon, sword raised above her head. Every rune on the blade blazing. Break! The Dragon Fang greatsword came down with the force of a natural disaster. Ling. Dragon's sword met rock armor, and the entire cave rang like someone struck the world's biggest gong inside a tin can. Sparks everywhere. Cracks spiderwebbed across the stone shell like a windshield after a baseball hit. But it held. Didn't fully break. This geomancer's defense was actually legit. First time anything has survived a direct hit from Pujuan. I was almost impressed. Almost. The geomancer screamed in pain. Pujuan's raw force still rattled its organs through the armor like shaking a coconut, and raised its crystal staff toward the ceiling. Oh no. Falling rocks. The entire cave started having an earthquake. Boulders broke loose from above and rained down like the sky decided to become the floor. Rocks the size of refrigerators falling on my troops while they were fighting kobold miners in tight quarters. Heads up. Shields. My Xuanjia guards went full turtle mode. Shields overhead, covering themselves and the swordswomen behind them. Boulders slammed into their shields and bounced off. These women could probably survive a building collapse. They're built different, but the rockfall was too wide. Some of my swordswomen in the middle of combat had to dodge falling death boulders while simultaneously fighting kobolds. It was chaos. The kind of chaos where one wrong step means pancake. Then I saw it. The geomancer's fatal mistake. It was pouring everything into its spells. All focus on the ceiling. All energy on maintaining rock armor. Every ounce of brain power dedicated to being a magical nuisance. It completely forgot about the invisible cat girl. Tong materialized behind it like she'd been standing there the whole time, just waiting for someone to notice. Her cat eyes were cold. Not the cute nervous Tong. Not the blushing ear-scratch Tong. This was work Tong. Professional killer Tong. Her two poison daggers drew twin arcs through the dim cave light. Target, both eyes. Simultaneously. Squelched the quietest, most devastating sound in the universe. Aarrrghhh. The geomancer lost it. Dropped its staff. Both hands flew to its face. Blood. Thick, reeking, kobold blood, gushing between its fingers like a broken faucet. Both eyes punctured. Shredded. Gone. Instantly the falling rocks stopped. The rock armor started cracking on its own, losing power like a phone at 1%. Beautiful. I couldn't help shouting. Tong's timing was surgical. She waited for the exact moment all its concentration was elsewhere, slipped in like smoke, and deleted its two most important organs. 50% of this boss fight just evaporated because a shy cat girl with daggers understood what patience means. Pujuan didn't waste a millisecond. She was on the geomancer before it finished screaming. Dragon's sword raised high, every rune blazing. Die. She brought that blade down on the cracked rock armor with everything she had. Boom. The armor exploded, fragments flying in every direction like shrapnel from a stone grenade. Underneath, soft, vulnerable, very mortal kobold flesh. Pujuan's sword kept going. Didn't even slow down. Went straight through from crown to crotch and split the geomancer into two perfectly symmetrical halves like a biology diagram. Kobold geomancer, elite, killed. 50 evolution points. 50. 50. From one kill. That's more than my entire first day of goblin farming. Elite monsters are basically walking banks. Both Pujuan and Tong got experience from the kill too. My girls are leveling up through pure violence. The educational system of champions. The remaining kobold miners saw their boss get vertically bisected and collectively decided that life was more important than loyalty. They dropped everything and bolted in every direction, screaming like they'd just witnessed the apocalypse. Which, from their perspective, they had. Leave none alive. My silver swordswomen launched the cleanup operation. 14 girls hunting fleeing kobolds through dark mine tunnels like the world's most terrifying game of tag. The kobolds had zero chance. My girls were faster, stronger, and motivated by the kind of loyalty that makes people do sprints at 2 a.m. without complaining. Every tunnel, every corner, every hiding spot, swept clean. Total battle hall, 82 evolution points. I walked over to the geomancer's bisected corpse. 2 items glowing underneath the mess. Item 1, the geomancer's crystal staff. Black iron quality. 5% earth magic boost. Requires a mage-type unit, which I don't currently have. Filed under. Will be useful later, alongside my collection of things I can't use yet but definitely will. Item 2. A skill book bound in animal hide, glowing earthy yellow. Skill book, Earth Spike. Black iron quality. A skill book. The actual spell this boss was using to make spikes erupt from the ground. Permanent skill acquisition. Equipment breaks, gets outdated, gets replaced. Skills are forever. Also requires a mage unit. Also filed under, future investment, 2 solid drops. Not game-breaking, but the kind of loot that makes you feel like you're building towards something bigger. Like finding puzzle pieces you can't use yet, but you know they'll complete the picture eventually. I pocketed everything and stared into the dark tunnels stretching deeper into the mine. Somewhere in that darkness, mountains of iron ore just waiting to be ripped out of the walls and turned into swords, armor, and arrows for my ever-growing army. This mine is mine now. Pun absolutely intended. Xuanjia guards. Pile every kobold body outside and burn them. Everyone else, 5-minute break, then we go deeper. Can't leave monster corpses lying around. That's how you get plagues, and my healthcare plan currently consists of 1 priestess and good vibes. The bonfire of kobold remains smelled exactly as bad as you'd imagine. 0 out of 10, would not recommend as aromatherapy. 5 minutes later we pushed into the deep tunnels. Winding passages, pickaxe marks everywhere, air thick with wet mineral smell. This mine had been here a long time. The kobolds didn't build it, they just squatted in it like the world's worst tenants. Pajuan walked beside me, dragon sword ready, red eyes scanning the darkness like built-in night vision. Master, this tunnel seems ancient. Yeah. And look at these walls. The deeper we went, the more iron veins I could see exposed in the rock. Thicker, denser, more frequent. My resource-starved brain was starting to tingle. Then the tunnel opened up and my brain exploded. A massive underground cavern. Ceiling covered in stalactites. And in the center, a gigantic vein of high-grade iron ore running through the cave like a sleeping black dragon. The metal surface reflected our torchlight with this deep, gorgeous shimmer that made my inner industrialist weep with joy. This wasn't a small iron deposit. This was a medium-sized mine. Enough iron to arm an entire army. Enough to build walls, forge weapons, upgrade buildings, make tools. Everything I've been bottlenecked on since day one was just sitting here in the dark waiting for me to show up and claim it. We're rich. My swordswomen started cheering. Even the stoic ones were grinning. Everyone understood what this meant. Then reality tapped me on the shoulder. I looked at my troops. Elite warriors. Silver armor. Combat-trained killers. Not a single miner among them. Asking my silver swordswomen to mine iron is like asking a Ferrari to haul gravel. Can it? Technically. Should it? Absolutely not. But we needed that first batch now. Grab the kobold pickaxes. We're mining. The silence that followed was deafening. 14 elite, sword-wielding warrior women slowly looked down at the dirty pickaxes, then back at me, then at each other. That's an order. What followed was the most beautiful disaster I've ever witnessed. Gorgeous girls in silver armor, swinging heavy mining tools they clearly had zero training with. Every strike was wrong. The angles were wrong. The posture was wrong. One girl kept hitting the wall with the handle instead of the head. Another one swung so hard she spun in a complete circle and almost hit the person next to her. They were sweating, hair sticking to foreheads, armor getting dusty, clothes getting disheveled underneath. Battle-hardened warriors brought to their knees by rocks. I was watching my elite assassination squad lose a fight against geology. Definitely hiring professional miners when we get back. This is painful to watch. Then Tong pinged my brain through our mental link. Master, I found something over here. I walked to where she was standing. A seemingly random section of cave wall covered in vines and rubble. Nothing special looking. Listen, she said, pressing one fuzzy ear against the rock. I leaned in and put my ear to the stone. Faint sounds. Whimpering. Struggling. Something alive behind this wall. There's a hidden space back here. I pulled away the vines and debris and found a small cave entrance sealed with a crude wooden barricade. The kobolds had deliberately hidden this. Pejuan, open it. She looked at the flimsy wooden bars. Looked at her legendary dragon greatsword. Looked back at the bars. Decided they weren't worth drawing her weapon for. She just kicked it. Bang. Wood exploded into splinters. The barricade ceased to exist. A wave of stench hit us. Blood, filth, and suffering compressed into a tiny space. I held up my torch and looked inside. Curled up in the corner, shaking violently from the noise, was a girl. Young, maybe 15 or 16. Chained hand and foot with crude iron shackles. Wearing rags that barely counted as clothing. Exposing skin covered in bruises, welts, and whip marks. Silver hair, beautiful but matted and filthy. Clearly she'd been here for a while. Clearly the kobolds had not been good hosts. And on top of her head, trembling with fear, were two fluffy fox ears. Behind her, a massive silver foxtail, puffed up in terror. A foxkin girl, imprisoned by kobolds in a hidden cell at the bottom of a mine. Every woman in my squad went silent. The kind of silence that comes before someone gets very angry on behalf of someone else. And me? I was already calculating how many ways these kobolds were lucky they were already dead. A fox girl. An actual fox girl. Silver hair, silver tail, fox ears, the whole package, chained up in a kobold dungeon like some kind of fantasy World War crime. Foxkin are one of the rarest races on this continent. Naturally beautiful, magically gifted, and unfortunately for them, the #1 target for every slave trader with a pulse. Finding one locked in a kobold mine is like finding a diamond ring in a gas station bathroom. Wrong place, right treasure. She was terrified. The second she noticed us looking at her, she curled into an even tighter ball, which I didn't think was physically possible, and started making these tiny whimpering sounds that could break a stone statue's heart. Her giant fluffy tail was wrapped around her like a security blanket made of trauma. Master, she seemed scared of us, Tong whispered helpfully. And no kidding, Tong. She's been imprisoned in a hole by dog monsters. Of course she's scared. I softened my voice to maximum gentle mode. Hey, we're not bad people. We're here to help. I signaled Pejuan to break the chains. She walked over, pinched the iron shackles between 2 fingers, and, snap, crushed them like they were made of chocolate. The fox girl's reaction to watching someone casually destroy iron chains with their bare fingers was not reassurance. Her fear went up by about 300%. In her mind, the scary kobolds just got replaced by an even scarier lady who treats metal like paper. Great job, Pejuan. Very comforting. Excellent bedside manner. Language wasn't working, so I tried the universal peace offering, food. I pulled out dried meat and clean water from storage and set them at the cave entrance. Then I backed everyone away. Full retreat. Maximum personal space. Here's food. We're not threatening. Please stop shaking. She watched us for what felt like an eternity. Those fox ears twitching, scanning for danger. Every muscle ready to bolt. Then hunger won. She inched toward the food like a stray cat approaching a stranger's hand. Painfully slow, painfully careful, ready to flee at any microsecond. She licked the meat first. Tentative. Testing. Then her eyes went wide and she inhaled that jerky like a vacuum cleaner with abandonment issues. Grabbed the water jug. Chugged the entire thing without stopping for air. This girl hadn't eaten properly in who knows how long. The kobolds were feeding her just enough to keep her alive, and that's it. After eating, the terror in her eyes dialed down from absolute panic to suspicious but listening. Progress. What's your name? Why were you locked up here? She understood me. I could see it in her eyes. But she just shook her head frantically and made muffled sounds. Couldn't speak. Then I noticed it. A metal collar around her neck, covered in suppression runes. A silencing collar. The kobolds literally took away her voice. These disgusting little cave goblins weren't just imprisoning her. They were systematically dehumanizing her. Every dead kobold in this mine suddenly felt more deserved. I pointed at the collar, then at Pejuan. We'll remove it. The fox girl hesitated, then nodded. Her massive silver tail gave one tiny, hopeful wag. Pejuan examined the collar and shook her head. It's a magic device, Master. If I force it, it might hurt her. Brute force won't work. What else do I have? Then a light bulb went off in my brain, so bright it could have lit the entire mine. What if I evolve it? I reached out and touched the cold metal collar. My talent activated. Detected, low-quality silencing collar. Can be evolved. Cost, 10 evolution points. IT works on enemy equipment too? My talent can evolve literally anything? A torture device worn by a prisoner? Sure, why not? Confirm. The runes on the collar vanished. The metal shifted, transformed, became sleeker and prettier. And then, click, the lock popped open by itself. Silencing collar evolved into ownerless storage collar. I gently removed it from her neck. The system told me it now had 1 cubic meter of storage space and could be bound by blood. I just turned a slave collar into a magical inventory bag. My talent didn't just free her, it turned her shackle into a useful item. Infinite evolution doesn't follow rules. Infinite evolution makes its own rules. The fox girl immediately started coughing violently, gasping, gulping air like someone who'd been held underwater. Her face went red, then slowly returned to normal as her lungs remembered what unrestricted breathing felt like. Then she looked up at me, green eyes, pure, crystalline emerald, staring at me like I'd just performed an actual miracle. Her hand went to her bare neck. No collar. For the first time in who knows how long. Nothing around her throat. Thank you. Her voice was tiny, scratchy from disuse, cracking like it hadn't been used in weeks or months. But in the silence of that underground cavern, it rang clear as a bell. 3 words. The first words she'd spoken in God knows how long. And she chose to use them on me. I'm not getting emotional. I'm a lord. Lords don't get emotional over rescued fox girls with big green eyes and fluffy tails. Okay, maybe a little emotional. She could finally talk. And the first thing she did was almost cry. I'm Yuan. I'm from the Silver Moon Fox tribe. Her voice was scratchy and used like an instrument that hadn't been played in months. But underneath the rust, beautiful. The kind of voice that makes you stop and listen. Yuan. Pretty name. I said that casually while my eyes were doing something very different, namely, scanning her stat panel and trying not to have a cardiac event. Name, Yuan race, Silver Moon Fox level, 0, 0. Tier 0. Loyalty, 90, deeply grateful, potential, S-rank S. Rank, potential. My heartbeat went from normal to drum solo in about half a second. She's level 0. No skills, no job class, no combat ability whatsoever. She's basically a wet kitten wrapped in rags. But that S sitting in her potential slot was glowing brighter than everything else on the screen. And she has an A-rank innate talent. Moonlight affinity. All stats boosted 20% under moonlight. Mana recovery up 50% at night. She's literally powered by the moon. Combine that with my moon, while that already buffs female units and moonlight energy, and my brain was doing math so fast it was smoking. This fox girl is a nuclear warhead disguised as a scared puppy. I kept my face calm. Lords don't drool over stat panels in front of traumatized teenagers. That's called being creepy, and I'm better than that. Where's your family? I asked gently. Her ears drooped. Her tail went limp. Her whole body language collapsed like a building losing its foundation. My home was burned by bad humans. Mama and Papa died protecting me. She was crying now. Quiet, broken crying. The kind that doesn't make noise because you've cried so many times the sound ran out. I was captured, sold far away. Then the kobolds bought me and locked me here. Every swordswoman behind me was tearing up. Pudjuin's hand went to her dragon's sword, and she started radiating. I will find those slavers and do unspeakable things to them. Energy so intense I could feel the temperature rise. I reached out and gently patted Yuan's messy silver hair. She flinched, instinct from months of abuse, but didn't pull away. A tiny victory. It's over now. Nobody is ever hurting you again. I looked her directly in those green gemstone eyes. Yuan, you have no home, no family. Let me fix both of those problems. Join my territory. Become one of my people. I can't promise you everything, but I can promise you this. As long as I'm alive, you're safe, and you'll have a home. Was I partly motivated by her S-rank potential? Obviously. But was I also genuinely angry about what happened to her and wanted to protect a traumatized orphan fox girl? Also obviously. The two things aren't mutually exclusive. Good business and good morals can coexist. She stared at me, tears streaming, fox ears twitching, that massive silver tail slowly, hesitantly, lifting off the ground. I'm willing. She nodded hard enough to scatter teardrops in every direction, and then the dam broke. Full sobbing. The ugly kind. The healing kind. Ding. S-rank wanderer Yuan has sworn loyalty. New citizen acquired. Welcome to the family, kid. I pulled a clean cloak from storage and wrapped it around her. Covered the rags. Covered the bruises. Covered the evidence of every terrible thing that happened to her. No more crying. You're one of us now. Then I handed her the storage collar. The one I'd just evolved from her slave shackle. Drop some blood on it. It's yours. She obeyed. And when she discovered the collar now had a storage space inside it, her eyes went completely round. Mouth formed a perfect O. Fox ears stood straight up. For one beautiful second, she wasn't a traumatized orphan. She was a teenager who just got the coolest present ever. I had her stuff some iron ore into the collar's inventory to help carry our haul. She did it eagerly, happy to be useful, happy to be part of something. Final expedition summary. 82 evolution points from combat. 1 massive iron mine secured. A geomancer staff, an earth spike skill book. A storage collar. And 1 S-rank silver moon fox girl with moon-powered abilities and unlimited potential. We marched out of that mine loaded down with iron ore battle, trophies, and 1 very small fox girl wrapped in an oversized cloak, walking close to my side, fluffy tail swaying gently for the first time since we found her. My army of warrior women had just adopted a little sister, and judging by the protective looks they were all giving Yuan, God help anyone who ever tries to touch her again. Golden sunset painted everything warm as we marched back to base. The whole squad was loaded down with iron ore like a supply caravan run by supermodels. Yuan stuck to my shadow the entire walk home, like a baby duckling imprinting on the first person who showed her kindness. Every few minutes, she'd peek out from behind me at the world like it was the first time she'd ever seen trees that weren't inside a mine. My swordswomen were incredible with her, passing her water, sharing snacks, telling her little stories to make her smile. Within 30 minutes, the terrified fox girl who'd been curled up in chains was actually making eye contact with people. Baby steps, but huge baby steps. Then we reached the territory walls, and Yuan's jaw hit the floor. Wooden fortifications, armed guards patrolling the perimeter, an actual organized settlement with buildings and roads and people. Her fox ears shot straight up and stayed there. Inside was even better. Stone pathways, organized structures, warehouse, farms, barracks, the moon while glowing softly in the twilight. The smell of actual cooked food drifting through the air. Every citizen we passed stopped to bow and say, "Welcome back, my lord." I could literally watch the concept of safety download into Yuan's brain in real time. Her eyes went from, "Is this real?" to, "Please let this be real," to, "I think this might actually be real," in about 60 seconds. "Is this really my new home?" she whispered to herself. Foxtail doing a cautious little sway. Hope, fragile, bruised, but alive, flickering in those green eyes. My Xuanjia guard captain rushed over with a status report. Everything normal. No incidents. Lan Shi ran a tight ship while I was gone. Good. I pointed at Yuan and told a swordswoman. Bath. Clean clothes. Food. Her own room. Make it happen. The swordswoman took Yuan's hand with a smile, so gentle you'd think she was handling a baby bird. Come with me, little sister. Yuan looked back at me one last time. I gave her a nod. She went. I dumped the mountain of iron ore into the warehouse, filled it halfway. That mine is going to keep us supplied for weeks. Told Tong to sort the ore and get the forge workshop running at full blast tomorrow. Priority 1, proper equipment for the Xuanjia guards. By the time I finished all the logistics, it was dark. I cleaned up, walked out of my room, and Yuan was standing in the courtyard. Clean, fed, transformed. The filthy, beaten, half-starved prisoner from the mine was gone. In her place stood this porcelain doll of a girl in a simple white dress, silver hair cascading down her back like liquid moonlight, skin practically glowing under the moon. Her fox ears were pristine, soft, fluffy, twitching nervously. Her massive silver tail was swishing back and forth behind her in slow, anxious waves. She was stunning, not in the warrior goddess way like Pujuan or the ethereal priestess way like Lan Shi. Yuan's beauty was delicate, fragile, the kind that makes you want to build a fortress around it and postcards. Lord, She was fidgeting with her dress hem like she was standing in front of a school principal. Relax. Did you eat? Why, yes. It was really good. Room okay? Need anything? It's nice. Everyone's been really kind to me. Each answer a little longer. A little less terrified. The ice was melting one word at a time. After sending her to bed, I climbed to the top floor of the manor and looked out over my kingdom at night. Torchlight flickering across the settlement like earthbound stars. Quiet. Peaceful. Mine. My brain shifted into planning mode. Yuan. S-rank potential. A-rank moonlight affinity talent. She's destined to become a mage. Specifically a moonlight mage who goes absolutely nuclear after dark. With my moon, while already boosting moonlight energy, she'd basically become a walking artillery platform every night. But mages need a class change building. A mage tower or magic temple. Those blueprints are rarer than hen's teeth on this continent. Nobody's selling. Nobody's sharing. I need to find one somehow. Filed under, critical priority, in my brain alongside, don't die, and deal with Wong Tongue eventually. Then I check my evolution points. 1,580, 1,580. I stared at that number for a full 10 seconds. From scraping together single points by stabbing lone goblins on day 1 to sitting on 1,500 from one mine raid. The growth curve of my operation was going vertical. Time for another major upgrade. I grinned in the darkness, the flickering lights of my territory reflected in my eyes. 1,500 points. Enough to evolve something big. Something game-changing. Something that would make Wong Tongue and his little Griffin Club look like a children's birthday party. The only question was, what do I spend it on? Night. Rooftop. Wind in my hair. 1,580 evolution points burning in my pocket like a winning lottery ticket I hadn't cashed yet. What do I spend it on? Upgrading troops? My Silver Swordswomen and Xuanjia guards would need thousands of points each for their next evolution. 1,000 points wouldn't even cover half. Pass. Buildings? The barracks and forge are nice, but they're branches. Branches don't grow without a stronger trunk. Then it hit me like a lightning bolt made of pure genius. The territory core. The literal heart of my entire domain. The thing that powers everything. If I upgrade that, everything gets better. Not one thing. Not two things. All things. I marched downstairs to the secret room beneath my manor. There it was, a head-sized white orb floating in the air, spinning slowly, glowing softly. The central nervous system of my entire kingdom. It looked peaceful. It was about to get very upgraded. I touched it. Cool and smooth, like holding a giant pearl made of concentrated potential. Evolve. Cost. 1,000 evolution points. 1,000. This single orb just ate more points than my entire first 2 days of goblin farming combined. The system doesn't even pretend territory cores are affordable. This is, sell your house to buy a bigger house, economics. Confirm. The orb went supernova. White light exploded outward and hit every corner of my territory like a shockwave made of pure upgrade energy. The ground started shaking. Every single person in my domain woke up simultaneously. Guards, workers, sleeping swordswomen, Yuan in her new room, everyone. They all felt the same thing. The earth beneath their feet was expanding. The territory borders pushed outward in real time, stretching, growing, claiming more land like my kingdom was taking a deep breath and getting bigger. The moon, which had been hiding behind clouds like a coward, suddenly broke through and beamed a spotlight directly onto my manor. Dramatic? Extremely. Coincidental? Probably not. Territory Core, Tier 1. Evolved to Territory Core, Tier 2. Good. Expected. But then, mutation detected. Territory Core, Tier 2, has undergone unknown mutation. My Territory Core mutated. Mutation successful. Territory Core evolved into Spirit Spring Heart, Tier 2. I read the stats and my knees went weak. Territory range expanded to 500,000 square meters. 500,000. From 200 to 500,000. My territory just went from backyard to small country. Effect 1. All resource production, wood, stone, iron, food, boosted by 20%. Everything my people harvest, mine, or grow is now 20% more. Permanently. For free. Effect 2. All citizens train and improve 10% faster. My soldiers level up quicker. My workers learn faster. Everyone in my domain just got a permanent XP boost. Mutation bonus, Spirit Spring Eye. A magical spring automatically spawns at the core location. Produces 10 liters of Spirit Spring water daily. And Spirit Spring water does. Let me read this. Restores stamina and mental energy. Improves physical constitution over time. And here's the one that made my brain do a somersault. Gradually increases potential. Increases potential. A D-rank farmer drinks this stuff for a few years, becomes C-rank, maybe B-rank. My weakest citizens will eventually become strong citizens just by existing in my territory and staying hydrated. This isn't an upgrade. This is a cheat code baked into the foundation of my kingdom, and it can be used to irrigate farmland, turning regular dirt into spirit soil that grows crops faster and better. My agriculture just went from medieval peasant farming to magical superfood production. While my brain was still rebooting, the floor cracked open. Right there in the secret room, a crystal-clear spring started bubbling up from underground, forming a small pool about half a meter wide. White mist curling off the surface. Smells so fresh and clean it felt like my lungs got a spa treatment just from breathing near it. I scooped up a handful and drank. Every cell in my body celebrated. A wave of warmth surged through me, washing away all fatigue instantly. It was like drinking liquid sleep. 8 hours of rest compressed into one sip. If I could bottle this and sell it, I'd be the richest lord on the continent before the week was over. This is the greatest thing I've ever created. Better than the Moonwell. Better than the Forge. This spring is my territory's ultimate secret weapon. Long term, it'll transform every citizen I have into something better than what they started as. Short term, it's infinite stamina potions on tap. I checked my remaining points. 580 evolution points left. 580. Still a respectable fortune. And then my mind drifted to a certain silver-haired fox girl sleeping somewhere in the manor right now. Small. Scared. Level 0. No skills. No class. But S-rank potential. And an A-rank moonlight talent. What would happen if I evolved her? An S-rank base with my SSS-rank evolution talent applied to it? That's not just addition. That's multiplication. That's taking a diamond in the rough and hitting it with a divine polishing laser. The idea took root in my brain and immediately started growing like a weed on performance-enhancing drugs. 580 points. One fox girl. And the most broken talent in existence. What could possibly go wrong? The idea latched onto my brain like a tick on a golden retriever and absolutely refused to let go. 580 evolution points. One S-rank fox girl. The most broken talent in existence. The math was screaming at me. Do it. Do it now. I walked across the courtyard to Yuane's room. Midnight. Stars overhead. Heart pounding like a war drum. I knocked. Who's there? Tiny voice. Scared kitten energy. Classic Yuane. It's me. The door cracked open and a fluffy silver head peeked through the gap like a fox checking if the coast is clear. She saw it was me, relaxed, and opened up fully. She was in a white sleeping gown 3 sizes too big, barefoot on the cold wooden floor, silver hair flowing everywhere, fox ears twitching, tail doing that nervous curling thing. Standing in the soft lamplight, she looked like a porcelain figure that someone forgot to put in a display case. Lord, it's late. Did you need something? I want to make you stronger. Strong enough to protect yourself. Maybe strong enough to protect others. Interested? Her eyes went confused. Then sad. But I can't do anything. I'll just be a burden. No. I cut that self-pity off at the knees. You have talent that would make most people on this continent cry with envy. You just never got a chance. I'm giving you that chance right now. But I need your trust. Completely. She looked at me. Deep into my eyes. Searching for lies, tricks, ulterior motives. Finding none. This is the man who broke her chains. Fed her. Clothed her. Gave her a home and a room and people who smile at her. In her universe, I'm basically the sun. I'm willing. Whatever you want to do, I trust you. Loyalty, 95. Devoted beyond doubt. Beautiful. Let's do this. Close your eyes. Relax completely. Don't resist anything. She closed her eyes. Eyelashes casting little shadows on her cheeks. Obedient. Trusting. Ready. I put my hand on her head and spoke the magic word. Evolve. Cost. 500 evolution points. 500. Half 1,000. The single most expensive evolution I've ever done. More than Pujuan's legendary upgrade. More than the territory core. This fox girl better be worth every. Confirm. Holy light erupted from my palm and swallowed her whole. What happened next was, okay, look, her clothes dissolved. The evolution light just ate her sleeping gown and turned it into sparkles. I was not prepared for this development. The system did not warn me about wardrobe malfunctions during evolution. There should be a disclaimer. Someone at Evolution HQ needs to fix this. But, focusing on the important parts, her body was transforming at light speed. The malnourished frame filled out into something healthy and elegant. Skin went from pale to luminous, practically glowing from within. A silver crescent moon symbol materialized on her forehead like a divine tattoo. And then, her tail. One tail, two tails, three massive, fluffy, snow-white fox tails unfurled behind her like the universe's most magnificent feather duster, swaying gently in the air, radiating energy that was simultaneously holy and dangerously seductive. The system went berserk. Evolution successful. Potential upgraded to SS-rank. Mutation triggered. Race evolved from Silver Moon Fox to Three-tailed Spirit Fox. Talent evolved. Moonlight Affinity, A rank. Moon God's Blessing, S rank. Yuan has awakened a unique hidden class. Moonlight Goddess, SS rank potential. S rank talent. Unique hidden class. Three-tailed Spirit Fox. 500 points. Best investment in the history of investments. Warren Buffett could never. The light faded. Yuan opened her eyes. Those green irises now contained what I can only describe as an entire galaxy compressed into two eyeballs. Starlight, moonlight, and ancient power swirling in emerald depths. She looked down at herself, felt the power surging through her body, noticed the two extra tails, then noticed her current state of undress. She dropped into a crouch so fast she created a small wind gust, arms wrapping around herself, face going from glowing goddess to tomato with fox ears in approximately 0.3 seconds. Even her ERS turned pink. All three tails puffed up and wrapped around her like the world's fluffiest emergency blanket. I whipped off my outer coat and draped it over her shoulders at maximum speed. Smooth recovery. Very lordly. Definitely didn't stare. Nope. Not even a little. Moving on. Totally normal. Evolution side effect. Happens every time. Don't worry about it. She buried her face in my coat, inhaling the fabric, turning even redder somehow. Thank you. Mosquito volume. Maximum embarrassment. Loyalty, 100. Until death and beyond. From zero-level prisoner to max loyalty goddess in one evolution. 500 points converted into the most devoted, most powerful magic user I will probably ever create. I opened her stat panel, and my pupils contracted so hard they almost disappeared. What I saw made everything before this moment look like a warm-up act. I stopped breathing. Literally forgot how lungs work. My eyes were glued to that stat panel like it contained the meaning of life, which, for a lord in a survival world, it basically did. Let me read this out loud so everyone at home understands why my brain temporarily left my body. Race, three-tailed spirit fox, mutated, class, moonlight goddess, unique hidden class, potential, SS-rank spirit stat, 25. At level 1 S-rank talent evolved into Moon God's Blessing. All spell damage. Boosted 50% under moonlight. Mana recovery boosted 100% at night. And all healing and buff spells enhanced by 30%. She has offensive magic. Moon Arrow, a spirit-scaling energy projectile. She has healing. Moon's Blessing. Single target heal plus a 5% all stats buff for 10 minutes. And she has defense. Foxfire Shield. 3 floating fox flames that absorb damage. She can shoot. She can heal. She can buff. She can shield. She's a DPS healer support tank hybrid crammed into one fox girl. She's a Swiss Army knife with ears and 3 tails. She's an entire party composition disguised as one small teenager. And at nighttime, under moonlight, she becomes basically double everything. With my moon well already pumping moonlight energy into the territory, she's going to be the most overpowered magic user on this continent after dark. 500 evolution points. I turned a starving, traumatized, level 0 prisoner into an SS rank goddess with a unique hidden class. If there was a stock market for evolution investments, this trade would be illegal because the returns are too good. She was still on the floor, wrapped in my coat, like a silver-haired burrito with fox ears poking out the top. 3 fluffy tails coiled around her for maximum coverage. Cheeks still radioactive pink. How do you feel? Anything hurt? And no, she squeaked from inside her coat fortress. There's just a warm power inside me. It feels nice. That's magic. You're magic. You're a moonlight goddess now. You can call down moonlight to attack, heal people's wounds, and protect yourself. I showed her the stat panel. Her eyes went enormous. Full dinner plate mode. Those green irises reflecting the glowing text like she was reading a letter from God addressed specifically to her. This is me? The disbelief in her voice cracked something in my chest. This girl spent months chained in a hole, convinced she was worthless, and now she's looking at proof that she's one of the most gifted beings on the entire continent. That's you. And from today forward, you are never a victim again. You have the power to decide your own future. I pulled her to her feet. She was clutching my coat around herself like a security blanket, 3 tails swishing behind her, crescent moon mark glowing softly on her forehead. Fragile and powerful at the same time. Like a glass cannon that also happens to be adorable. Tomorrow I'll get proper priestess robes made for you. Tonight, rest. Get used to your new body. I turned to leave. Hand on the door. Lord, I looked back. She was standing there, gripping my coat with both hands. Chin up, green eyes blazing with something that wasn't fear anymore. It was resolve. Thank you. For everything. From now on, my life belongs to you. Whatever you ask, I'll do it. Willingly. Her voice was small, but her conviction could have moved mountains. I smiled. Get some sleep, closed the door behind me, walked back to my room. Behind that door, I could practically feel her burying her face in my coat and breathing in my scent like it was oxygen. Loyalty 100. Until death and beyond. Back in my quarters, I checked my points. 80 evolution points remaining. 80. From 1,580 to 80 in one night. I spent like a drunken billionaire at an auction. No regrets, though. I bought a mutated territory core and an SS-rank fox goddess. That's a portfolio. 80 points can't do much right now. Save it. Bank it. Wait. But I had another card to play. A card that doesn't cost evolution points at all. The Spirit Spring Water. Sitting right downstairs. Producing 10 liters daily. Permanently improving anyone who drinks it. And tomorrow morning, I'm serving it to Pujuan and Tong. My tier, 5 legendary dragon war god. Drinking water that boosts potential over time. My tier, 3 rare shadow blade dancer. Getting daily constitution upgrades. What happens when you pour premium gasoline into engines that are already running at maximum? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. I laid back on my bed, staring at the ceiling, grinning so wide it hurt. Day 2 summary. Conquered an iron mine. Massacred a kobold army. Rescued a fox girl. Evolved her into a goddess, mutated my territory core into a miracle spring, and built the foundation for the most broken kingdom this world has ever seen. And the newbie protection period still has 5 more days. Wong Tung, buddy, you have absolutely no idea what's growing in your backyard. Morning hit different today. The entire territory felt it. Every citizen woke up breathing air that tasted like a mountain spa vacation. People were stretching, smiling, feeling energized before they even had breakfast. Nobody understood why. They just knew something had changed. I knew why. The Spirit Spring heart was pumping life energy through the land like a heartbeat made of pure vitality. My kingdom was literally alive now, feeding strength into everything that lived on it. Best alarm clock ever invented. After breakfast, a proper breakfast, because lords eat well, I summoned Pujuan and Tong to the dining hall. Pujuan arrived looking like a war goddess who accidentally wandered into a restaurant. Red dragon armor. Perfect posture. Body that could be on a fitness magazine cover if fitness magazines existed in this world. Tong materialized from somewhere. I genuinely don't know where she was standing before she appeared. Tiny cat ears alert. Black bow on her back. Eyes sharp as surgical scalpels. I found something special. It might make both of you stronger. Pujuan's eyebrow went up. She's tier 5 legendary. Getting stronger from here is supposed to be basically impossible. Her expression said, I'm intrigued but skeptical. Follow me. I led them to the secret chamber beneath the manor. Pushed open the stone door. The Spirit Spring. I sat there, A small pool of crystal-clear water, white mist curling off the surface, filling the room with energy so pure it was practically visible. Both of them froze. These are two of the most powerful beings in my territory, a dragon war god and a shadow assassin. And they both went dead still the moment they felt the energy radiating from that pool. Their eyes went wide at the exact same time. This is spirit spring water. My territory core mutated and created it. It can improve constitution and over time, raise your potential. Drink. The word potential hit them like an electric shock. Both of their faces went through surprise, disbelief, and then raw hunger in about 2 seconds flat. Potential enhancement is supposed to be mythological, the kind of thing old legends mention and nobody believes actually exists. Yes, my lord. They didn't even use cups. Both of them dropped to their knees by the pool and drank directly from the spring like two beautiful deer at a magical stream. Dignity? Gone. Protocol? Abandoned. These elite warriors were chugging miracle water with zero shame. Then it happened. Pujuan lit up first. Gold-red light blasted from her body. Beneath her skin, I could see golden dragon blood boiling, literally glowing through her flesh. Dragon-shaped runes flickered across her arms, her neck, her face. Ancient symbols appearing and disappearing like her body was downloading a dragon firmware update. Pujuan's dragon bloodline has been purified. Potential slightly increased. Talent evolved. Dragon Blood Fury, A rank. Dragon God's Wrath, S rank. S rank talent. On a tier 5 legendary unit. Let me read the effect. Dragon God's Wrath. Activate to boost all stats by 50%. Grants hyper armor. Immune to all crowd control. Duration 1 minute. Cooldown 24 hours. 50%. All stats. Immune to control. For a full minute. Pujuan was already the strongest melee unit I had. Now she has an I win button she can press once a day that makes her completely unstoppable for 60 seconds. If she activates this mid-battle, she becomes a force of nature. Literally nothing can stop her, slow her, stun her, freeze her, or control her in any way. She just walks through everything and kills whatever she touches. This is obscene. Meanwhile, Tong's transformation was quieter but equally terrifying. Green wind started swirling around her tiny frame. Her already sharp eyes went deeper, like looking into two pools that went down forever. Something ancient and perceptive woke up behind those cat-slit pupils. Tong's soul affinity with natural elements improved. Potential slightly increased. Skill evolved. Eagle Eye, LV5. Truth-piercing gaze, LV5. Passive. Vision range 500%. Dynamic vision 500%. Active. See through enemy weaknesses. Next attack is a guaranteed critical hit that ignores 30% of target's defense. Guaranteed. Crit. Ignoring. Armor. My stealth assassin who can already teleport behind people and one-shot them now has a skill that lets her identify the exact weak point on any enemy and then deliver a critical strike that bypasses almost a third of their defenses. Tong was already a nightmare for squishy targets. Now she's a nightmare for everything. Tanks? She'll crit through your armor. Bosses? She'll find your weak spot from 500 meters away. Literally any living thing with a health bar? She sees where to stab you for maximum damage, and she never misses. The light faded. Both women stood up. Pujuan was vibrating with power. My lord. My dragon blood. It feels stronger. She looked like she wanted to punch a mountain just to test it. The air around her was hot enough to make my hair move. Tong spoke in her usual soft voice, but it was shaking my eyes. I can see further. Clearer. Everything. She was looking at the wall, but I could tell she was seeing through it. Into the hallway. Into the courtyard. Probably into next week. Thank you, my lord, for this grace. Both dropped to one knee simultaneously. Perfect synchronization from two women who couldn't be more different. One a blazing dragon warrior, the other a silent shadow. United in absolute loyalty to the guy who keeps making them stupidly overpowered. I pulled them both up with a grin. You're my left and right hand. The stronger you get, the happier I am. Let me update the roster for anyone keeping score. Pujuan, Tier 5, Legendary, Dragon War God. Now with S-rank Dragon God's Wrath. Can go Berserk mode once daily with 50% stat boost and total CC immunity. Basically a raid boss on MY team. Tong, Tier 3, Rare, Shadow Blade Dancer. Now with truth-piercing gaze. Can guarantee crits while ignoring armor. The most lethal assassin on the continent, who also happens to be a blushing cat girl. Yuan, SS-rank potential, unique hidden class Moonlight Goddess. Moon-powered DPS/healer/buffer triple threat with 3 fluffy tails. Plus Ling Yi, Ruo Shui, 3 Xuanjia guards, 19 silver swordswomen, workers, catgirls, and a territory running on spirit spring steroids. I stood at the manor entrance and stared out past my walls, past the forest, into the mist-covered unknown beyond. 80 evolution points in the bank. A miracle spring producing daily upgrades. An army that would make other lords weep tears of inadequate blood. Somewhere out there are more monsters, more treasure chests, more evolution points, and a man named Wang Tung who thinks he's the king of this region. He's not. He just doesn't know it yet. Next morning. New day. New recruits. I strolled to my level 3 spring of life like a man visiting his favorite vending machine. 8 free citizens. Let's see what the gacha gods have for me today. 8 figures rose from the glowing water. 6 tall women in tight beast-hide armor carrying short bows. Legs that went on for days. Athletic builds. Hunter energy. Female hunters. Tier 1. Skills. Basic archery, tracking. Perfect for Ruo Shui's range division she's been building. 6 scout sniper recruits delivered straight to her doorstep. Not flashy, but exactly what I needed. And then, the other 2. 2 tiny girls. Like tiny. Waist height to me. Pointed ears. Sweet round faces. Wearing simple dresses that were losing a very unfair battle against proportions that absolutely did not match their miniature frames. Halfling cooks. Tier 1. Life class. Skills. Basic cooking, ingredient processing. Cooks. Actual cooks. Non-combat life class citizens who can make real food that restores stamina and morale. My entire army has been eating dry jerky and whatever we scavenged from goblin camps. The culinary bar was underground. These 2 adorable little kitchen gremlins just became the most strategically important citizens in my territory after the combat heroes. Handed the cooks to Ling Yi for meal management. Sent the hunters to Ruo Shui. Assembly line of delegation. Very CEO of me. Evolution points, still 80. Pathetic. Time to go shopping for monster corpses. Everyone, battle formation. We're heading west. Pajuan. Tong. Yuan. 19 silver swordswomen. Full war party, mounted up and moving. The western forest was new territory. Unexplored. My eagle eye skill plus Tong's new truth-piercing gaze meant I could see literally everything within a massive radius. We spotted scattered monsters before they spotted us. The swordswomen cleaned them up like professionals, banking easy evolution points and, thanks to the Spirit Springs training speed boost, leveling up noticeably faster. Then Tong's voice slipped into my ear like a whisper from the shadows. My lord. 3 kilometers ahead. Swamp. At least 30 monsters. All tier 2. 30 tier. 2 monsters in one spot? That's not a threat. That's a buffet. Stealth approach. Everyone quiet. We crept through the undergrowth until the smell hit us. Rotten eggs mixed with wet dog mixed with regret. The swamp was a bubbling nightmare of black mud, and lounging in it were these massive lizards. 3 meters long. Black scales. Red eyes. Tongues flicking. Looking like someone crossed an alligator with a tank and gave it a bad attitude. Black scale lizards. Tier 2. Level 6. Skills. Scale armor defense. Swamp stealth. System description. Extremely tough hide with high physical resistance. Perfect. I knew exactly what I was doing. Silver swordswomen. Frontal charge. Yes, SIR. 19 silver streaks blasted toward the swamp. The lead girl jumped high. Executed a textbook double slash. 2 gleaming arcs of steel. And slammed both hits onto a lizard's back. Clang. -7 damage. 7. Out of probably several hundred hit points. Her full-powered skill attack left a scratch so shallow you'd need a magnifying glass to find it. Her face went completely white. What? Welcome to the real world, sweetheart. Not everything dies when you swing your sword at it. The lizard she hit went berserk. Its tail, thick as a tree trunk, coated in stinking mud, whipped around like a baseball bat aimed at her torso. She twisted at the last possible microsecond, that massive tail brushing past her chest close enough to rearrange her hair, and tumbled backward through the mud. Every other swordswoman was having the same experience. Swords bouncing off scales like plastic toys. Single-digit damage numbers floating up like insults. -5, -8, -6. They were essentially giving these lizards aggressive massages. 0 penetration. 0 effective damage. The lizards barely noticed. Then 30-plus angry lizards climbed out of the mud and surrounded my girls. Chaos. Pure chaos. My silver swordswomen went from confident assault force to desperate dodgeball players in about 10 seconds. Giant tails sweeping, massive jaws snapping, mud flying everywhere. The girls were flipping, rolling, diving, using every ounce of their Tier 2 agility just to not die. Their beautiful silver armor was coated in black swamp mud within minutes. Faces splattered, hair ruined. One girl slipped and face-planted directly into a mud puddle. Another took a mud ball to the chest and went flying backward, tumbling across the ground like a rag doll. We can't break through. Their skin is too thick. Incoming mud bombs. Several lizards opened their mouths and launched globs of stinking mud like biological artillery. 2 girls got hit dead on and went down screaming, rolling in the muck, completely covered head to toe. I watched the whole thing from the rear with complete calm. Was I worried? No. This was intentional. These girls had been steamrolling everything since their evolution. Goblins. Easy. Kobolds. Easier. They'd never fought something they couldn't hurt. They'd never experienced true helplessness on a battlefield. This was the lesson. This was the crucible. The moment where rookies either break or forge themselves into something harder. You don't build elite soldiers by letting them win every fight. You build them by making them struggle, bleed, get covered in lizard mud, and keep fighting. This swamp was their graduation exam, and the real firepower was standing right behind me, waiting for my signal. One of my girls took a tail whip to the ribs and went flying like a silver baseball. I winced. That's gonna bruise. But then, golden light. Not from me. From her. Level up. In the middle of combat. Then another girl leveled up. Then another. Then a fourth. For simultaneous battlefield promotions triggered by pure survival pressure. The Spirit Springs training boost plus life or death adrenaline equals accelerated growth. My plan was working. The girl who got launched picked herself up, mud dripping off her armor, fury in her eyes, and charged right back at the same lizard that hit her. Double slash. Clang clang. -18. -20. Finally broke double digits. Her post-level up stats actually made a dent. A small dent. Hey, I technically damaged you dent. But progress. Problem. These lizards had about 500 HP each. At 20 damage per hit, she'd need to swing her sword approximately 25 more times to kill one. There were 30 of them. Physical damage wasn't cutting it. Literally. Time for Plan B. Or more accurately, Plan Fox. Yuane. Master. Poor girl was white as paper. First time seeing monsters. Her fox ears were completely flattened. 3 tails puffed up like silver dusters. She looked like someone had shown a kitten a horror movie. See your sisters fighting out there? They need you. Use your moon arrow. A&M, she swallowed hard. Looked at the struggling swordswomen. Something shifted behind those green eyes. Fear turned to determination. Yes, master, she raised her staff. SS-rank spirit stat ignited. In the name of moonlight. Arrow, a silver bolt of pure compressed moonlight screamed across the swamp and drilled into a lizard's side. -220 damage. 220. My swordswomen had been tickling these things for 5 minutes and doing 7 damage per hit. Yuane walks up on her first day, throws one spell, and does more damage than all 19 of them combined. Every swordswoman on the battlefield stopped and stared. Jaws dropped. Eyes bugged. The collective expression was, "Are you kidding me right now?" The lizard she hit abandoned its current target and charged straight at Yuane. Eek! Yuane screamed, fox ears standing straight up in pure terror. Tong. One word. One syllable. A black arrow materialized from literally nowhere. Truth-piercing gaze activated. Target. Open mouth. Weakness identified. The arrow flew into the charging lizard's gaping jaws. -655. Critical. Weakness penetration. The lizard dropped dead so fast it slid forward through the mud on momentum alone, stopping about 2 meters from Yuane's trembling feet. Good work, I said. Yuan's terrified face instantly turned cherry red. Maximum embarrassment despite literally just helping kill a monster. This girl's emotional range goes from scared hamster to blushing hamster, with no stops in between. New strategy. Swordswomen, hold the line. Pin the lizards. Create space for Yuan. YSSS. Instant morale boost. Now they had a purpose. Not killing, containing. 3 girls per lizard, dodging, blocking, keeping the beasts occupied while Yuan turned into a moonlight turret behind them. Moon arrow. Moon arrow. Moon arrow. Silver bolts raining into the swamp like divine artillery, each one deleting a massive chunk of lizard health bar. Her S-rank spirit stat meant she could fire practically forever without running dry. She leveled up to 2, then 3, getting stronger in real time while fighting. But 30 lizards was still a lot, and my swordswomen were getting overwhelmed. We can't hold much longer, one girl screamed, 3 lizards snapping at her from different angles. I looked at Pejuan. She was standing next to me, arms crossed, dragon sword resting on her shoulder, face absolutely blank with boredom. She'd been watching this entire fight the way a lion watches puppies play wrestle. Pejuan. Her eyes lit up like someone plugged her into an electrical socket. Go. She became a red comet. Crashed into the lizard formation like a bowling ball hitting pins made of meat. The first lizard she touched didn't just die. It went airborne. Launched 10 feet up. Those famous indestructible scales. Pejuan's dragon blade went through them like they were wrapping paper. Minus 1050. One-hit kill. She landed, stomped the ground hard enough to create a mud explosion, and spun her flaming sword in a full 360-degree horizontal arc. Minus 1250. Minus 1280. Minus 1240. 3 lizards cut in half simultaneously. 6 halves of lizard flying in 6 different directions. The swamp looked like a blender filled with reptile parts. My 19 swordswomen stood frozen, mud-covered, exhausted, scratched up, mouths hanging open, watching their supreme commander single-handedly delete an entire ecosystem in about 8 seconds. If they were doing 7 damage per hit, and Pejuan was doing 1250, she was hitting approximately 178 times harder than them. That's not a power gap, that's a power canyon. Battle complete. 72 evolution points. Yuan leveled to 3. Multiple swordswomen broke through. Pejuan and Tong gained experience. Everyone grew from this fight. Strip the scales off every lizard. Those are tier 2 crafting materials. The Forge Workshop is going to love these. Yes, SIR. My mud-covered, blood-splattered, grinning girl screamed, diving onto lizard corpses with knives like it was Black Friday at a leather store. Evolution points. 162. Getting there. Tong, scout deeper. She vanished. 30 seconds later she was back, and her face was doing something I'd never seen before. She looked worried. Master, look. I followed her gaze to the center of the swamp. Bubbles. Hundreds of bubbles. Rising from the mud. Getting bigger. Getting angrier. Splash. Something erupted from the swamp. 3 times bigger than any lizard we'd fought. Covered in obsidian black armor plating. A horn growing from its skull like a medieval weapon. Red eyes the size of lanterns, locked directly onto me. Roar. The sound wave literally pushed mud outward in a shockwave. Trees bent. Birds fled. My swordswomen grabbed each other for balance. Swamp Lord Black Scale Lizard King. Tier 3. Elite Boss. Level 10. Skills. Reinforced Scales. Passive. Toxic Spit. War Stomp. Description. The absolute ruler of this swamp. Its armor can withstand entire armies. Its poison can rot all living things. A Tier 3 Elite Boss. Bigger, meaner, and uglier than the Goblin Chieftain. Bigger than the Kobold Geomancer. The king of this entire disgusting swamp, and it just woke up from its nap in a very bad mood. My breathing got faster. Not from fear, from excitement. All units, battle stations. The Swamp Lord roared, and the sound wave hit us like a physical wall. Every swordswoman went sheet white. Their legs were shaking. Their breathing went ragged. These girls just got demolished by the regular lizards, and now there's one 3 times bigger staring at us like we're appetizers. Formation. Yuan support. Swordswomen, flanks only, do not tank hits. My voice cut through the panic like a knife through warm butter. Everyone snapped into action. Fear is temporary. Orders are forever. The Swamp Lord opened its mouth, a cave of teeth big enough to park a car in, and fired. A high-pressure stream of green toxic sludge blasted toward me and Pujuan like a chemical weapon fire hose. Master, watch out. Pujuan threw her entire body between me and the poison stream without a millisecond of hesitation. Dragon sword up. Shield position. Boom. Toxic acid hit the dragon blade and started smoking. Actual corrosion on a legendary weapon. The splashback rained down across the battlefield like the world's worst sprinkler system. Don't let it touch your skin. My swordswomen were diving, rolling, and screaming through the mud trying to avoid acid rain. One girl caught a few drops on her chest plate, and it burned a hole through the silver chainmail. Through metal. In seconds, this boss wasn't playing games. Then it raised a massive claw and slammed the ground. War Stomp. Shockwave detonated outward. Every swordswoman went airborne simultaneously. 19 silver-armored girls launched like ragdolls, landing in the mud with splashes and yelps. Paralysis debuff. Couldn't move. 19 elite warriors lying in swamp muck like beautiful, helpless statues. Even Yuane in the back got knocked stumbling, face going white. Pujuan took the stomp at ground zero. The stun effect was about to lock her body down, but in that split second before it activated, her golden dragon eyes blazed with fury. Dragon God's Wrath, S-rank talent, activated. A pillar of gold-red flame erupted from her body. The stun effect hit her immune system and got rejected like a bad credit card. All stats 50%. Total CC immunity. 1 minute of being literally unstoppable. Yuane. Moon's Blessing. On Pujuan. Now, Yuane fought through her dizziness, raised her staff with trembling hands. By the moon god's name. Blessing. Holy moonlight poured down from the sky and wrapped around Pujuan's blazing form. Additional 5% all stats on top of the 50%. Health regeneration. 2 power-ups stacked on each other. Pujuan was now wrapped in dragon fire and moonlight simultaneously. She looked like a goddess of war descending from heaven to file a complaint with the universe. Die. She hit the boss like a meteor. Minus 850. Minus 880. Minus 810. Chunks of health bar vanishing with every swing. The legendary dragon blade was carving through that obsidian armor like it was cardboard. Each impact sending cracks spiderwebbing across the boss's supposedly invincible scales. Behind her, Yuane was unloading. Moon Arrow. Minus 115. Minus 280 crit. Minus 118. Magic damage bypassing physical defense entirely. The boss was getting hit from 2 completely different damage types simultaneously. Physical devastation from the front, magical bombardment from the back. Nowhere to hide. Master, Pujuan shouted between swings. His armor's too thick. My rage mode won't last forever. Clock ticking. Need a finishing blow. Need. Tong. Silence from the shadows. Then, understood, Tong closed her eyes. When they reopened, they were glowing teal. Truth-piercing gaze, active. The entire world turned black and white in her vision. Except for one spot. 3 inches below the boss's horn. A tiny gap between 2 scales. Pulsing bright red. Weak point identified. Pujuan. Force it down. Target. 3 inches below the horn. Pujuan didn't question it. She launched sideways and slammed her dragon blade into the boss's knee joint. Crunch. The Swamp Lord buckled. Its massive body dipped downward. The weak point was exposed. Tong drew her black bow. Full draw. Muscles locked. Breathing stopped. Truth-piercing gaze locked on. Guaranteed critical. 30% armor penetration. The arrow left the bow like a shooting star cutting through darkness. Thwip it threaded through that impossible gap between scales like the world's most lethal needle through the world's most dangerous eye. Roar. Minus 3,580. Critical hit. Weakness penetration. 3,580. From one arrow. From a single cat girl with perfect aim and supernatural target analysis. The boss's health bar didn't just drop, it cratered. Green blood erupted from the wound like a geyser. The creature thrashed wildly, smashing everything around it in agony. Yuane focused the wound. A moon arrow 3 times thicker than normal screamed into the open wound. Minus 450. Crit. Weakness bonus. Pujuan. End it. Pujuan licked her lips. Jumped. soared into the air above the thrashing boss. Both hands on the dragon blade, every rune blazing gold, every ounce of buffed, blessed, rage-empowered dragon warrior strength channeled into one final strike. Dragon Fang. Shatter the stars. A crimson comet fell from the sky and drove directly into the gaping wound. The boss froze. Its lantern-red eyes went wide with disbelief. Then, boom, it collapsed. The impact crater splashed mud 50 meters in every direction. The ground shook. Birds scattered. The swamp went silent. Swamp Lord Blackscale Lizard King, Tier 3 Elite Boss LV10, defeated. 100 evolution points. Pujuan leveled to 6. Tong leveled to 6. Yuan leveled to 5. And then, the real reward. All 19 swordswomen lit up with golden light simultaneously. The boss fight experience was so massive it catapulted every single one of them to level 5 in one shot. 19 instant level ups. The battlefield looked like a golden fireworks display made of beautiful, mud-covered women having the best day of their professional lives. 3 loot items dropped from the boss's body, glowing with rare quality light. Loot 1, Rare Blueprint, Spirit Field, Conversion. Loot 2, Rare Material, Swamp Lord's Horn. Loot 3, Rare Item, Toxic Core. 100 evolution points plus 3 rare drops plus a full army level up plus a triple hero power showcase that proved my team composition was the most disgusting combination on this continent. Pujuan for raw devastation. Tong for surgical precision. Yuan for magical bombardment. 3 women, 3 completely different kill methods, 1 very dead boss. I looked at the massive corpse sinking into the mud, then at my 3 heroes standing in the aftermath. Pujuan wreathed in fading dragon fire, Tong lowering her bow with cold satisfaction, Yuan clutching her staff and panting with wide eyes that said, "Did I really just do that?" "Yeah, kid. You did." Evolution points. 262 and climbing. This swamp belongs to me now. Everything in it belongs to me. And somewhere in the distance, more monsters were waiting to become evolution points. I love this job. We won. We won. My mud-covered, blood-splattered, swamp-stinking swordswomen erupted into cheers so loud the dead lizard probably heard it in the afterlife. They were hugging each other, crying, laughing, looking like the world's most enthusiastic mud wrestlers after a championship match. I was already ignoring the celebration because 3 glowing items were sitting next to the boss corpse calling my name louder than any cheering squad. Item 1, Rare Blueprint, Spirit Field Conversion. My jaw nearly detached. This blueprint lets me convert regular farmland into spirit farmland using spirit spring water. Spirit fields grow crops 30% faster, produce better quality food, and have a small chance to grow spirit grain. Food infused with actual magical energy that permanently improves the body of whoever eats it. I got the spirit spring yesterday, and today the universe hands me the blueprint to weaponize it for agriculture. It's like the loot gods are reading my diary and gift wrapping exactly what I need. Regular food fills your stomach. Spirit food upgrades your DNA. My citizens are going to be eating magical vegetables, while other lords are sharing raw potatoes. This is the culinary arms race, and I just went nuclear. Item 2, Swamp Lord's Horn. Rare Epic Tier, Crafting Material. Can be used to forge Tier 3 Epic, Purple, quality weapons, or armor. Epic, Purple. That's 2 whole tiers above basic gear. I looked at Pujuan cleaning her dragon blade nearby, and my brain immediately started designing upgrades. This horn was made for her. A new weapon or armor set using this thing would turn her from terrifying to civilization ending. Item 3, Toxic Core. Rare enchanting material. Can enchant weapons with poison damage. I immediately thought of Tong. Imagine, invisible cat girl assassin teleports behind you, guaranteed critical hit that ignores your armor, and the arrow is coated in boss-grade toxin. That's not assassination. That's a war crime with extra steps. My girls finally noticed how disgusting they looked. 19 beautiful faces covered in black mud, green lizard blood, and swamp stench. Silver armor caked in filth, so thick you couldn't tell it was silver anymore. They glanced at each other, realized they all looked like creatures from a horror movie, and collectively turned red with embarrassment. Great work. Every single one of you was incredible. They beamed through the mud. Even though you currently look like a squad of very pretty swamp monsters. Wayne snorted first. Then everyone cracked up. Tension gone. Morale at 100. Strip every lizard. Scales, poison sacks, everything. Don't waste a single piece. Yes, SIR. 19 mud girls dove onto lizard corpses with knives, happily butchering their way to crafting materials. We marched home at sunset looking like a refugee column that won the lottery. Filthy, exhausted, and loaded with loot. Launchy saw us coming, and her jaw dropped. My lord, did you all fall into a swamp? Won a battle. Minor detail. Tonight, victory feast. Her eyes sparkled. Yes, my lord. Also, fill the bath with moonwell water and heat it up. Every soldier gets a soak. That's an order. The two halfling cooks went berserk in the kitchen. These tiny, adorable girls turned out to be culinary geniuses. Massive slabs of beast meat roasting over the bonfire, dripping with fat, filling the entire territory with the kind of smell that makes your stomach write love letters to your nose. Spirit spring water simmered into rich broth that smelled like heaven opened a restaurant. Meanwhile, the bathhouse was a cloud of steam and moonlight-infused water. My swordswomen piled in after peeling off their destroyed armor. The moonwell water worked its magic, healing bruises, soothing muscles, washing away swamp trauma. I could hear laughter and splashing from across the territory. Happy soldiers are loyal soldiers, and right now my soldiers were the happiest they'd ever been. Pajuan walked into the bath, and every girl in the pool suddenly felt personally attacked by genetics. According to the aftermath reports I definitely did not request, the collective morale impact of Pajuan's entrance was devastating but inspirational. While my army was busy enjoying their well-earned rest, I was in my study staring at the Swamp Lord's horn and doing math. This horn could make an epic weapon, but my forge workshop was only tier 2. That's like trying to cook a 5-star meal in a microwave. The forge needed an upgrade. I checked the evolution panel. Forge workshop evolution cost 250 points. I checked my balance. 262 points. 12 points to spare. The tightest budget I've ever worked with. But enough. Evolve the forge. Dark red light exploded skyward, turning the entire manor crimson. The forge building began its transformation, expanding, restructuring, growing more furnaces, more anvils, more everything. 250 points, leaving me with 12 in the bank. Was it reckless? Yes. Was it worth it? The Swamp Lord's horn in my hand said absolutely. Because when this evolution finishes, I'm forging the most devastating weapon this continent has ever seen. And I'm putting it in the hands of a tier 5 legendary dragon war god who already hits harder than natural disasters. Wang Tong, if you're reading this somehow, start running. You've got about 4 days of newbie protection left, and I've been very productive. The forge evolution hit the night sky like someone detonated a star made of molten metal. Half the territory turned red. Girls in the bath stopped mid-splash. Girls at the bonfire dropped their meat skewers. Everyone was staring at the forge building as it transformed into something that looked ripped straight out a steampunk fever dream. Dark red alien metal replaced the stone walls. Dwarven runes, actual dwarven runes, carved themselves across every surface. A massive smokestack erupted from the roof, punching into the clouds, belching sparks and smoke like an industrial dragon clearing its throat. Forge Workshop, Tier 2, evolved into Dwarven Forge, Tier 3. Rarity, rare. I read the stats and my knees went physically weak. Effect 1, Master Forging. Resource cost reduced 15%. 20% chance to craft rare, blue, quality gear. 5% chance to craft epic, purple, quality gear. Effect 2, Rune Enchanting. Unlocked. Can now enchant weapons with elemental damage or special properties. Sharpness, durability, poison. Effect 3, Alloy Smelting. Can combine multiple metals to create entirely new alloy materials. Epic weapons. Enchanting. Custom alloys. I went from guy with a basic workshop to owner of a legendary forge that can produce divine equipment. 5% epic chance means roughly 1 in 20 items comes out purple. At scale, I'll be mass-producing gear that other lords can't even dream of finding in treasure chests. And that enchanting function? I looked at the Swamp Lord's horn sitting on my desk, then the toxic core. Then I imagined Pajuan swinging an epic dragon blade forged from boss materials. Then I imagined Tong shooting arrows enchanted with lethal poison that also guarantee critical hits through armor. I started laughing. Couldn't stop. Just stood at the window cackling like a villain who realized the heroes forgot to show up. Outside, the celebration was already in full swing. My swordswomen had emerged from the moon, well-bathed, looking like they'd been reborn. Clean white linen clothes, glowing skin, hair flowing, all traces of swamp nightmare completely erased. The moonlight water had done something magical to their complexions. Every single one of them looked like she'd just walked out of a skincare commercial filmed in heaven. The halfling cooks were performing miracles at the bonfire. Beast meat roasting until the fat crackled and popped, sending clouds of the most incredible smell across the territory. Spirit spring water broth simmering in massive pots, each spoonful basically a liquid health potion. These tiny girls were worth their weight in gold. Possibly more than gold. You can't eat gold. Yuan was surrounded by swordswomen showering her with compliments. Yuan, you were amazing. That moon arrow deleted that lizard. Without you we'd all be dead. She was turning every shade of red that exists. Fox ears vibrating with embarrassment. Three tails curled up tight in shy mode, waving her tiny hands frantically. And no, it was all because of Master. A room full of battle-hardened warriors reduced to cooing at a blushing fox girl. Peak territory morale. At another table, brave swordswomen were toasting Pujuan, who had ditched her dragon armor for a tight red outfit and was demolishing a roasted beast leg with zero table manners and maximum enjoyment. Grease on her chin, grease on her fingers. Absolutely zero concern about appearances from the most powerful warrior on the continent. Not bad today, she told the girls between bites. You were pathetic against those lizards, but pathetic with heart. I respect that. Thank you, General. They chugged their fruit wine and turned crimson. Getting complimented by Pujuan was apparently equivalent to receiving a medal. Tong sat alone in a corner, silently sipping broth, looking like she'd rather be invisible. But even her usually ice-cold eyes had thawed a degree or two. Somewhere deep in that assassin soul, she was enjoying herself. She'd never admit it. I'd never ask. Then I walked in. Everything stopped. Every girl stood up simultaneously like someone hit a pause button and then an attention button. 40-something pairs of eyes locked onto me. The looks I was getting, worship, admiration, gratitude, and something hotter that I'm choosing not to name for professional reasons. Sit down. Tonight you're heroes. Relax. I sat at the head table. Pujuan materialized next to me instantly, practically glued to my side, radiating heat and alcohol fumes, smelling like campfire and danger. Master, her voice was husky from the wine. She grabbed a dripping meat leg and held it up to my mouth. Eat. You need energy. She was feeding me, with her hands, while pressing against me, with those eyes doing that half-lidded smoldering thing. Dragon warriors have zero concept of personal boundaries. I bit the meat because refusing a slightly drunk tier 5 legendary war god feels like a bad survival strategy. That big lizard was too easy, she pouted. Next time, find me something harder. This woman just soloed a tier 3 elite boss, and she's bored. Her idea of recreation is fighting things that could destroy cities. I created a monster. A beautiful, terrifying, meat-eating monster. Then Tong appeared on my other side, silent as always, holding a bowl of steaming spirit spring broth. This soup has spirit water. Good for your body. Her face was red. From the fire, she'd insist. Those sharp eyes softened by exactly 0.5 degrees. For Tong, that's basically a love confession. I drank the soup. Warmth flooded my whole body. Dragon war god on my left, feeding me meat. Shadow assassin on my right, feeding me soup. An army of adoring silver-armored warriors watching from every direction. And somewhere in the crowd, a fox-eared moon goddess was peeking at me through her bangs, face red enough to glow in the dark, 3 tails betraying her by wagging ever so slightly. I leaned back and took in the whole scene. Bonfire crackling, laughter floating through the night air. My people, happy, strong, fed, safe, and getting stronger every single day. 12 evolution points in the bank. A dwarven forge ready to produce legendary weapons. Epic crafting materials waiting to be shaped. An army that fights, bleeds, bathes, and celebrates together. 5 days of newbie protection remaining. 5 days to become so powerful that when the barrier drops, Nothing on this continent will be ready for what walks out. I bit into another piece of meat, looked up at the stars, and smiled. This is MY Kingdom, and we're just getting started. Mid-celebration, my eyes drifted to the corner of the plaza, and my stomach dropped. Ruashue, sitting alone, drinking soup, silver hair catching the firelight. Beautiful, deadly, and completely left out. A wave of guilt hit me like a truck full of shame. This woman was my first hero, my first evolution, the one who carried me through day one when I was a moron with a wooden stick. She single-handedly slaughtered 80 goblins in one night so I could build everything I have. She trained 6 hunters from scratch without being asked. She ran reconnaissance missions. She did everything right. And I forgot her. Twice. 2 major battles, and I didn't even bring her along. I was so busy evolving Pejuan into a dragon demigod and turning Yuan into a fox goddess that I completely neglected the woman who started it all. And Tong, I'd been using her as a bow user. She's a shadow blade dancer, an assassin. Her entire skill set is stealth, daggers, and teleporting behind people. And I had her shooting arrows from 100 meters away like some kind of sniper. That's like buying a Ferrari and using it to deliver newspapers. Everyone, come here. Pejuan, Tong, and Ruche gathered around me. The mood shifted. They could feel something was different. Ruashue, yes, master. Those green eyes, still calm, still professional, but hiding a loneliness I should have noticed weeks ago. I neglected you. You've been training soldiers, running patrols, doing everything perfectly, and I repaid you by leaving you behind. That ends now. She trembled. Didn't expect that. Started to say something about being honored to serve. No. You deserved better. I turned to Tong. And you? You're an assassin. I turned you into an archer because it was convenient. That was my mistake. I pulled out the 2 boss materials. Handed the toxic core to Tong. This is boss-grade poison. Enchant your daggers with it. From now on, you fight how you were born to fight. In the shadows, with blades, up close and lethal. Tong's hands closed around the pulsing green heart. Her cool facade cracked. Pure excitement bled through those cat eyes. Her ears stood straight up. Her tail went rigid. Tong, will complete every mission. Without fail, one knee, fist to chest, voice shaking with gratitude. Then I turned to Pejuan and tossed her the Swamp Lord's horn. Tier 3 epic crafting material. Take it to the Dwarven Forge. Get yourself a weapon worthy of a war god. Pejuan caught the horn, which was thicker than her thigh, looked at it, looked at me, and her golden dragon eyes went supernova with joy. She kissed the horn, full lips on monster bone, made a loud, MWH sound. Zero shame. Master, I love you. She screamed it at full volume in front of the entire army. 40 women heard that. Nobody was surprised. Pejuan grabbed the horn, grabbed Tong, and they sprinted toward the forge like 2 kids racing to a candy store. Then they came back 30 seconds later looking like deflated balloons. Master, Pejuan's face was the color of a tomato. We can't figure out how to open it. It needs a professional blacksmith. I stared at her, then at the forge, then back at her. I had a tier 3 epic forge. Tier 3 epic materials. 2 of the most powerful warriors on the continent. And 0 blacksmiths. I built a Lamborghini factory and forgot to hire mechanics. Incredible strategic planning on my part. Nobel Prize in leadership. It was 10:47 p.m. Recruitment resets at midnight. Everyone, party continues. But at midnight, we're all gathering at the spring of life. I need this recruitment to deliver a miracle. The next hour was the longest of my life. Pejuan was pacing outside the forge like a caged tiger, those long legs eating up ground back and forth, hugging the horn like a teddy bear. The swordswomen were placing bets on what would come out of the spring. Tong was sitting in a shadow, holding her toxic core, occasionally sniffing it like it was perfume. Midnight. Recruitment refreshed, August 8th. I slammed that button so hard I almost broke the interface. Recruit. The spring blazed with light brighter than any previous recruitment. The Spirit Spring Heart's ambient energy was supercharging the process.